Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Colin. Thanks for joining me here on Chat and Shit, Talking Ball. I'm here with some of my favorite guests ever. Shoot, I'll just call them friends because that's what they are. Um, we got a lot of cool ones in the house. Here we go. Boom. What's up, everybody?
Good morning.
Good morning. Wow. Yeah, I forgot about that massive time difference there. Good morning to you, sir. Have you had your morning coffee and breakfast yet?
Well, no, because it's a quarter to three, so yeah.
Oh, shoot, that type of morning. Okay, well, not as much of a time difference as I thought. Um, well, Cody Mack, how's Canada? You keeping Canada in line?
Yeah, things are good. It's pumpkin spice season. You're starting to
Yes.
see the coffees and the teas and all that stuff, which means basically summertime is over and the brutal Canadian winter is on our
Every
doorstep. So
everything is about to die
pretty
and then
much,
get
yeah,
cold.
pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. No, I hear you, man. I'm in the Midwest. We don't get it quite as bad as you Canadians do, but it's a thing that winter sucks. But here it comes. And finally, Mom, what's up?
Just got done mowing the grass. I'm kind of looking forward to winter.
Yeah, let all that shit die. Don't even
Sure,
worry about it
yeah.
at all. Yeah, well, it's very good to have you, friends. I kind of just wanted to, as I was saying, kind of behind the scenes. I don't really have a whole lot of as far as topics go. I just wanted to kind of just jump in and talk Spurs with my buddies. We got Brian Daigle in the house. He says, "Good evening, everyone.
Right.
How are we all? We're great, Daigle. If you want to hop on, man. I could use a Daigle rant. I haven't even had one today, so let me throw the link up for you. Boom, boom." So international break, my least favorite time. Cody, I saw your tweet about how last season you took kind of solace in, and you looked forward to the international breaks because they gave you a break from what Spurs were offering. But now it makes
And that's
it's
true.
kind of sad. Now I wish we would play again.
Coming
I
off
miss
a
watching
good
us
three
play.
wins, let's want to keep the momentum going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like last season, even if you're just talking about the end of the year, it was like a mercy killing, like just put that give that season the old Yeller treatment, get it over with, get that last win at Leicester. Thank God, finish above Arsenal. But this season, it's like, oh man, so far coming into the first international break, and we're sitting top table, and it's like, man, I just want my Spurs back. So it's good. There's been a clear shift in energy at the club, compared to where things left off when we were sacking Jose and going 72 days without a manager, and even the summer transfer window coming to an end is a little bit of a blessing, even if it wasn't the greatest window that we've ever had. And I'm sure we'll probably get into that at some point. But it's just nice to see that the players are working hard. They appear to be gaining fitness. There's a lot more smiling going on, and this is the thing. Like in football, all of those outside noise, all those factors like the Harry Kane saga and all that stuff, it all goes away when you win. Everything
Mm.
is fine when you win, and right now we're winning. So long may it continue, and yeah, gives us something to hope for.
And all you really
that's
ever want to
exactly
see,
right, man. Oh no, sorry, I didn't mean. Go ahead, my friend.
all you ever really want to see is your players playing for your team. It's
We got Shane Black in the house.
I I think with under Mooring that they were not enjoying their football and they weren't really trying. But under Nuno, there seems, well, obviously new manager bounce, um, and they
It's
seem
weird
like
how
they're
real of a thing that is. I never believed in the new
they're
manager
still
bounce. I
smiling.
mean, it
Yeah,
always happened, but I'd seen it happen, but I just thought it was coincidence. But I mean, it's happened for us too. So I gotta start
yeah.
evaluating that. Maybe that is a real
Hmm.
phenomenon. I mean, I could see being more motivated if things were going poorly under the previous guy. You know.
Yeah, yeah. And Maureen, as my mate Johnny calls him, he was the confidence vampire. That he sucked the confidence out of so many players. I mean, when he actually mentioned that he targeted Sanchez when he was playing for Ajax, when he was the manager of Man United. I mean, he actually said that to him in Spurs training, apparently. Yeah. But seriously, why would you say that to one of your players? Yeah, anyway. Enough said about Maureen. Can't stand bloke, never have done.
He's gone. Just for our nightmares now. Until we face Roma in the,
Yeah. But anyway, Aaron, how are you, mate?
Aaron, what's up?
All good, lads. All good. And Mama, great to see you again. Cody, yeah, man. All right. Nice beard. And yeah. Ricky, who I just found out tonight, your name is Jens. Yeah, man. Good to see you, dude from the Shield. And yeah, all fantastic, man. All fantastic. And
You better watch
nice
out,
to be
mate.
on
I'm going to come over and nick you.
Don't talk to me about that. I've got a court case next week. But anyway, let's not go there, right? Yeah,
we're not even going to touch that one.
No,
right
don't
now,
worry. I'll DM you the details, brother.
Please do.
Don't worry.
Please do.
All good. But anyway, go for it with the free for all, yeah. And let's hear what Mama has to say.
Yeah, what's your Spurs take from? I guess Watford game. I don't know. Were you too full from breakfast for the Watford match? Me and another one of my Spurs supporting buddies all went to my mom. She lives in the next town, and then we got up early, cooked a big breakfast, and watched the match. There were some drinks involved. Might be a little hazy, but what was your impression from the Watford match, Mom?
Me?
Yeah, you haven't.
Honestly, God, it feels like it's with this break and everything, and it seems so long ago. We won. That was good. Breakfast was delicious. I don't really have. I can't remember real specifics at this point. I'm sorry.
No sorries needed. That's kind of telling though. That's sort of telling of the match, especially as a Spurs fan. Not much happened. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to be excited about. That would really ingrain itself in your memory unless you were studying it. One person though that I know is here, Cody Mack, the analyst. What do you have to say about
the Watford game? Okay, so I thought like they made it pretty clear early on what their game plan was going to be. They were going to be working down the side that Reguilon was working on. They were going to get Ismail Sarr going, and early on he was overmatched. That was obvious. I thought the first 12, 15, 20 minutes Watford were having a go at us, and it was a little disappointing because with all the positive energy and everything that kind of seemed to feed the players in the Man City game, the nature of the football kind of took the crowd out of it a little bit. Like it wasn't an easy eye. It wasn't easy on the eye, the football. It wasn't a game for the neutrals to be watching, that's for sure. But I thought as the game went on, despite the fact that we scored what was a fairly fortunate goal in the Sonny free kick, I thought we pretty much strangled them out of the game. Like Hugo Lloris didn't have to do a whole lot. Even like Eric Dyer and Davinson Sanchez, they were fairly well protected when they did make a mistake. I thought we controlled the ball well. We didn't really look like giving up a goal, and we probably should have finished a few more chances. If I'm being honest, I think the 1-0 scoreline probably flattered Watford quite a bit, but it was definitely encouraging after last year having given up 23 points from winning positions, that so far we've taken 1-0 leads, and not only have we not given up any points, but we haven't conceded a single goal, and we haven't looked like conceding. I was kind of hiding under my desk in the Wolves game a little bit. I thought they were kind of
that was a scary one.
They were carpet bombing us a bit, but Watford, I really didn't feel like they offered much, especially in the second half. I think it's going to be interesting to see how this develops for Tottenham under Nuno Espirito Santo, because right now, that starting 11, on one hand, you don't want to change it because you're talking about 9 points from 9, 3 clean sheets. Everything is happy days. But I wonder if you're playing such a pragmatic starting 11, because really, like Delhi's role has changed quite a bit. He did have one late run into the box where he probably should, if he puts it on target, it's in. That was probably one of the chances that I would count among the ones that should have been finished. But for the most part, he's kind of like a road runner, like a free roll, like mostly applying pressure on the defensive side. So with that, and then you've got Højbjerg and Skip as holding midfielders. There's a lack of creativity. You're relying quite a bit on Son and Kane and Bergwijn to be doing the dirty work. So when we come up against a team who's going to sit back a bit and who we're going to impose ourselves on, like Watford, and force them to play with 8 to 10 players in the box, it's going to be interesting to see if and when the wheels start to fall off a little bit in terms of like results. Like if we start drawing where we should be winning, like Palace away, or if we start losing matches, will the appetite for this style of football be sustained by the fan base, or will they start you start to hear the same comparisons? Oh, this is the same as what we watched last year from Jose, everything like that. So
yeah, you make a good point in that the wins kind of paper over everything.
As long as you're winning, it doesn't matter what's going on. As long as
I think that might be a problem. Like you were saying, why change the starting 11? And I know that wasn't you talking. That was you kind of speaking. Like as anybody would. Really, why change what's working? Yeah. But what I'm thinking is maybe, and you probably but what we probably should make some changes.
And hopefully with some of our new signings, there will be some changes.
Yeah, I just don't know what to do about that defensive pairing. That's you bring a good point up, and why change what's working. But I also think that might be. I hope the club doesn't completely fall into that, because that could get dangerous. I mean, if there's a better option, or if things could, be.
Because when Dyer and Sanchez stop working, and chances are good that they will, there's going to be a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, but we've got Romero, so. He worked with Dyer the other day, and I'd like to see him play with Sanchez, because I think they've both got qualities that will complement each other.
And Spanish speaking as well. So
yeah, exactly. I think that will be very exciting.
Bob Spurs here. Bob, thanks for watching, man. And hey, I'm really sorry I just cut you off again, Ricky. I'm the worst. Go ahead, finish.
Mate, no worries. After my behaviour last week, I could completely understand, and I apologise for that.
You keep apologising, sir, and I have no idea. I thought you were a stand-up guy. So
well, I was a little bit nasty to Cody and his beard. So.
You called me a wank, for fuck's sake.
Listen,
I literally don't remember that at all.
I take it as a compliment when you're jealous. It doesn't bother me at all. Yeah,
I can completely understand. I'm completely hairless.
That's all right. Like we have some shared common, characteristics. So
there's a brotherhood there. I think I'm clinging on to it, but I'm embarrassed that I haven't showed that on the internet.
Come on, Aaron.
Aaron, now we got to see your hair. It's the thing. We got to do it. Oh man, we got a celeb. We got a celeb coming in. Is everybody ready?
Oh,
he looks ready. Oh,
what's up, people?
Hey, Mr. Daigle, how are you?
I'm
good to see
you, Daigle.
Do you know what? Today I am on cloud mother effing 9. We've been more than 10 minutes, yes, sir. So I have just today in the last few hours booked my ticket to fly home to England.
Nice. When?
I'm
good man.
I'm going home for 6 weeks. So I'm going home. I arrived 13th of September, and I'm staying till the 29th of October. And I've just found out on September the 19th, Tottenham Hotspur Chelsea. I will be.
Tommy's going too. Are you going to be with him?
And sitting right next to Ben from We Are Tottenham TV and one Danny Kiriakou.
Dude,
brilliant,
man. I can't. Jealous doesn't begin to describe it, but I'm also as a friend, I'm really happy for you. But as like a human being, I'm like,
I'm
but
going
if
for
it's,
I think
if it's Chelsea, you
I think
better
I
get
speak
your
for
knives
all
out,
of us.
mate.
I think I speak for all of us when I say piss off, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what?
but also have a
you know what,
fucking good
Cody?
time.
As I was
Chant
saying
loud.
that, I've come on here and I've realised how much of a fucking cock I sound by just going, listen, all you people around the world, guess what? I'm going home at my first game in the new stadium. But listen, I'm
Yeah.
telling you now.
Well, you
No,
know, it's
man,
nice. It's been
I'm
nice
happy
having you on the
for you.
show, Brian. Really great to see
Yeah.
you.
Hey,
all
that's
I'm-
great
him out.
news. You
Can
got to
somebody
share
play
great
him out?
news.
all I will be
Absolutely.
saying, it's great news for me. But
Yeah.
if you hear any Daniel Levy chants, you know exactly where they're coming from.
I was gonna say you better be
Oh,
loud, man.
oh,
You
mate.
got to do it for all of us that can't be
Mate,
there.
I'm gonna make that guy that was that
I
did the
can
Levy.
see
You can
you.
see me. I'm gonna make him look like he's Charlie Chaplin. That's what I'm going to do. So
Perfect.
I already
look
have
forward to it.
I already
forward to
have
it.
2 songs to sing to him. So oh, and I don't know if anyone knows. I don't even know if Cody knows because you might have signed out of the Tottenham on Tour stream. Everyone knows that I was sending emails to Daniel Levy
Yeah.
with the links to all my rants. He's blocked me.
Yes. So that means that somebody along the line has seen one.
Oh yeah, someone down the line. So I'm just worried. I'm just
Daigle says,
listen, Bob Spur brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell me to piss off to my face very soon, mate. And in return, you
Oh,
and in
man, I
return, mate,
can't
all you're
wait.
gonna get is a big hug. That's all that man's
See,
gonna get.
Listen, I will say this, Brian. If they're going to send you your tickets to the game by email, maybe open a new account.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. This
Yeah.
is the actual person's ticket I'm taking. Cody is Adams. Remember who we met at the Scotland Yard?
Yeah.
It's his ticket.
Scotland Yard.
So,
Jeez.
yeah.
Yeah, let's not go there.
No, that yeah. Aaron,
Oh right, sorry.
I won't bother. It's the Toronto
pub, is
Spurs
it?
pub. It's the Toronto
okay.
Spurs pub
I thought-
called.
I thought you meant the
Scotland
police
Yard.
in London.
No.
we
So,
were all. There must have been a great story. No, okay.
so it's his ticket, but this is the thing. I'm kind of worried. I'm first of all kind of worried that I'm gonna get to Heathrow and he's gonna have me done for hate crime and I'll be chucked in Heathrow prison. And then if I was, then there'll be.
How is that going to be hate crime?
Trust me, the emails I've sent him and the videos and the links I've sent him.
Oh, okay.
Trust me, I call him every name under the sun.
Yeah.
And then also,
Security's going to be waiting for you at the stadium.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking. You know, like when you see in those Western movies, like Wanted, Dead or Alive. I think there's going to be a picture at every single ticket booth as I go in. But
Have you seen this man?
No,
Do not let him in.
I might have to, Cody, I might have to get mock up your beard.
Money.
I
You
might
got a wallet
have to
and money. Daniel Levy wants you at the match, no matter what. As long as you got
Talking
your wallet
Tottenham
and he's got your money.
TV, message me because I've got a season ticket and I haven't been able to get over from the Netherlands. So if you want my ticket, then I may be able to sort you out.
There you go.
Hey, Cody, Bob Spur wants to know if you're drinking out of the Holy Grail.
No,
He'll be drinking in the Bell and Hair. Or the two brewers.
This is a little Pinot Cardboardio out of a Cristal chalice. So it's delicious.
It's high quality too. We talked about it before. It's probably more than you can afford, I think, probably, Bob. But
listen, it's the finest cardboard money can buy.
Cardboard.
That's a bit classy. That is Gordon Bennett. Yeah.
Right. Back a while ago, Bob asked a really good question. And he said, where do you guys think we're going to finish this season? Same, lower, higher? And now that the window's over, what do you guys think? And I'll start off with Aaron. Go.
4th place.
Dope.
4th?
And who do you think we're gonna? Who do you think's gonna? Can I get the other 3?
I reckon we're going to finish ahead of Liverpool and Leicester.
Okay, that's what the consensus is among people who think that we'll get top 4 is that Liverpool is going to be who we've got to pit.
I know Cody mentioned earlier we're playing pragmatic football at the moment, but Jason might be wishful thinking, but I honestly think, but Harry Kane, when you looked at him last night, he missed 3 out of 4 excellent chances. He got 1. When he hits 4, right, and when we're playing free-flowing football, if we can do it, if Ndombele gets back to what we know he's all capable of. Now, I'm looking at this, judging this from the point of view of us, all our players playing well. And yeah, that's my top position would be fourth, and probably seventh or eighth if we have a not so decent season. So yeah, but I'm hoping for fourth.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair, and I feel the same. I didn't want to spoil it, but that's actually where I also think we're going to finish. And I'm the eternal optimist. That's kind of maybe I should put that as my name on this thing instead of my Twitter handle. I'll just have eternal optimist underneath me. But I like that. That's not a terrible trait to have. There's worse traits. But
you got to look at the African Cup of Nations as well. Liverpool are going to lose three players.
That's where I think they're going to. But they still have players that are great. Brian.
Yep.
You're gonna hit me with a more realistic take? You're probably gonna be more critical than me.
No, I mean the way I said it. No matter, I mean, if Conte or Poch had come in, then we would have expected. I would have been like, right, I expect Champions League football minimum. There's nothing and a title challenge, full stop. But after the whole summer saga, whether it be the manager, whether it be Kane, whether it be players in, players out. All I care about this year is kind of a free hit for me. As long as we finish higher than we did last year and maybe win a cup or get to a final, that's progress. All I want to see from Nuno this season is progression. And there's something that Bob Spur speaks about regularly, which is an identity. And that's something that we've been lacking. We had it under Poch. We kind of, from Martignol, we had it with Martignol, then we kind of lost it with AVB and whoever came in. Pochettino really rubber stamped. This is where we're going. This is what we're doing. And everyone was singing off the same hymn sheet. Everyone was pulling in the same direction. Then Mourinho came and it was like going through a cheese grater and we didn't know what we were doing. And now for me, all Nuno needs to do is get the team together again, which he looks like he is doing. All right, it's only 3 games, but he looks like he's doing it. And we finished we finished 7th. So if we finish, 6th is Europa League. So if we finish 6th or higher, and get to a cup final and win a cup. But I honestly think if you're saying top 4, I would say I literally think we might have a late surge for 4th and not 3rd, 2nd, 1st. Being realistic, I think that is. But if we finish 6th or higher and get to a final of a cup, I will say, Nuno, do you know what? Hands off to you. Well done. Now we rebuild and you go again in the 2nd year. So I'm really, really giving it a free hit.
Cool. Well, that's awesome, and I think that's probably a more realistic expectation than what I have. And I'm kind of in the same camp as you. I don't think I don't think that we're gonna slip into 4th, having been in a higher position than that. I think that 4th is like absolute highest that we should be expecting, or not even expecting, hoping for maybe.
I'd be ecstatic with 4th.
Just with the way the other teams have strengthened.
Absolutely, I can't see us reaching 4th.
Yeah, for 4th's the best I think we could finish, and that's why I said 4th.
I think that's.
I think we'd be lucky to get 4th, to be honest with you, but I'd be,
Yeah. Well, we were lucky to beat Watford,
and the right luck, we can be there for sure.
Yeah, and
if we get lucky, if they get injuries, if the rest of the top,
but that can go both ways.
Injuries.
We could finish really low because of our injuries, which I guess kind of segues into the whole. I want everyone's opinion, because I don't even have a good one, on why we didn't sign a striker. And I know that we could still get some free agents. That's cool, but I think they would have to be British at this point.
How long we were saying that for?
I'm going to plead the 5th on this one.
It just doesn't make any sense. And I know that I'm.
Can I ask that question?
Yeah.
And I'm going to answer it in a song. Why don't we have a striker? I will say, oh, what a night. Watching Tottenham on a Thursday night. Got no depth because our chairman's tight. What a feeling, what a night. And that's why we don't have a striker.
It's just pathetic. We could have had a striker for like 5
Valley, man. My favorite karaoke.
Literally anyone that's like older and has more experience than Dane Scarlett. They don't even have, we just needed like some.
What's Victor Janssen doing?
Vincent Janssen, he's playing in Mexico, killing it, winning titles with his
Is he?
new team. Well, I know that they won the title last season, I believe. COVID season, I think.
Every player that we let go wins something, man.
Yeah, Bob, piss off. No, I'm just kidding. I know that you're. This is a parody, but I miss this whole thing. Tommy was saying that there was somebody on the people that were on his channel.
Tell Bob to get his hair cut.
Oh, is that what they were going? Oh, tell Bob.
And tell him to put some boxer shorts on as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Put on some boxers, get your hair cut, Bob. Yeah. We're just negative people. I've learned it.
No, I can't say that I'm negative. I just
I'm not. I'm not either.
I've probably been supporting Spurs as long as most of you have. I came to England in 1980. So that's what 40 odd years. First 10 or so years were absolutely brilliant, and I was only a nipper and I couldn't really remember an awful lot of it. And then the first thing I really remember was 84 when we beat
Anderlecht.
And I had to go to bed. My mum told me to go to bed because I was 8 years old, and then I couldn't sleep, and then I heard my brother shouting and screaming, yes, and I ran and I said, what happened? And he was like, yes, and I said, what happened? He said, we won. And so ever since then I was hooked.
Yeah, Jens, you were lucky, man. I mean, that particular game against Anderlecht in '84, my sister was playing Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz from Wednesday until Saturday night, and I was too young to be kept at home on my own. So I was dragged along to watch The Wizard of Oz for 4 or 5 nights in a row.
And I bet you were saying that in a place like home.
Ouch.
Oh, Jesus, Daigle, you wouldn't believe it. I still give my sister a load of shit over that. You wouldn't believe. Luckily, the rest of my family is Tottenham, so they empathise with me, you know. But anyway, guys, I'm going to have to hop off. I'm going to have to call my daughter for about 20 minutes. We'll jump back in, yeah?
Yeah, sounds good, man.
Yeah, take it easy, mate.
Yeah, talk to you.
I'll be back on, yeah? All right, cheers, lads.
See you soon, buddy.
And Mama.
Come back.
But yeah, I'm trying to get Bob to come chat some shit, but he says as difficult as it might be, is getting a striker in January a must, regardless of how we're doing in the league. Yeah, I mean, the wheels could just fall off at any moment.
God, one bad ankle injury and we are screwed. I mean, I know we still got Son, but what if Son gets hurt? You know,
and with Son,
it's not his role. He shouldn't have to do it. Yeah. You know,
that's being pessimistic.
We play differently. We play differently with Sonny. But I don't know. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. People could argue that either way. I've seen it argued both ways. That the way we play without Kane is better than the way we play with Kane.
I think Cody's trying to say something.
I say, look how polite he is. He's raising his hand.
He doesn't even want to raise his hand. It's kind of like, I don't want to disturb anyone.
Just jump in. Sorry about that.
There is
Cody.
I want to address the question about where we might finish, and I think that there is a decent shout for us to sneak into 4th place. I think any realistic Spurs fan will acknowledge that I think the range of outcomes realistically is somewhere between at the very top 4th place, but at the very bottom, as bad as we finished last year, like 7th. Like I can't really think of like 7 teams that could finish above us. But starting on the 2nd of April, we have 8 games left in the league season, and this is how it sets up: home to Newcastle, away to Aston Villa, home to Brighton, away to Brentford. Now, those are not pushover games. Let's acknowledge it. There's no pushover games anymore in the Premier League, but those are 4 teams that you would expect us to finish above in the table. And then, so my point is, like, going into like May, so April 30th starting, we have home to Leicester, away to Liverpool, and then our last 2 games of the season are home to Burnley and away to Norwich. So if we can put ourselves in a position going into those last 4 games where even if we're 5th or 6th, but we're not that far off top 4, you know, you've got your opportunity to play teams that are going to be around us in Leicester and Liverpool. And then the last 2 games are games that we really should win, home to Burnley and away to Norwich. So
they're also they're also probably be fighting for relegation. So that always makes it a lot more
That's true.
difficult.
I think,
So,
but it's possible. Like Burnley will probably be safe at that point, just because I really
Norwich
rate
maybe
Sean
not.
Dyche.
Yeah.
Norwich might be finished. I think Norwich are destined to go down. So
Brentford look likely to stay up. I don't know. That's just
they do.
Yeah, well,
guess.
Brentford won't only stay up.
first year
They'll
kick.
comfortably stay up.
Yeah.
They will.
I think,
comfortably stay
but
up.
we play them on the 5th. We've got 5 games left when we play them, so it's April 23rd. They might be like in the pressure cooker, being like 15th, 16th, 17th. Like, okay, we need to get points. You know what I mean? Like, it might be an advantage for us, but we'll see. I think the real question, given what we did in the summer transfer window, is how much focus are we going to apply onto the cups, the League Cup, the FA Cup, and the Europa Conference League? Because the depth problem that you guys are talking about in terms of Kane and Son, and then who else is going to score for us, that really becomes a question of, okay, so if we don't have a deep squad, then we kind of have to prioritize which competition that we're going to actually like play full strength squads towards. You know, if we're going to make a go at top 4, it's almost going to be like the same decision that Maurizio Pochettino found himself making. You know, like everybody remembers that Poch didn't win any trophies, but don't forget, we were not a deep team. We were a good team, but we were not a deep team. We had a good starting 11 and then a couple of good players that came off the bench, but we weren't a team that could go out and put our B team out in, say, Champions League or FA Cup or League Cup games. So we'll have to wait and see. I agree that we didn't do enough in the window in terms of addressing this season. You know, that was clear to me. The fact that we bought 18 to 23-year-olds alone, none of them Premier League proven, just tells you it wasn't a window where we were looking at this season as the opening of our competitive window. This was all geared towards next season and the season after, and bringing in the talent then, which is frustrating because, you know, when you're off to a good start in the Premier League and you've got a new coach and you've got good vibes, you want to build on that and you want to take advantage of it. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I think realistically, given what we did in the summer transfer window, I think the likelihood of us getting top 4 is, I would still say, 10 to 15%.
Well, I have to say, I'm always, as I said, I started supporting Spurs in 1980, and we were always a cup team. And so over the last few years, where our managers really don't seem to, well,
give a shit about the
I
cups.
suppose we've reached a few finals,
Right,
we've reached a few semi-finals. I find that a little bit disappointing. I know that the money is in the Champions League, but being an older supporter, I do think that any cup that we go into, we should go for. I always used to find it really disrespectful from Harry Redknapp saying, "Oh yeah, I couldn't care less about the Europa League." You know, he said, "Yeah, it's rubbish." The big man Bill Nicholson said, "If Tottenham are not in Europe,
they're nothing. We're nothing.
they're nothing." So, yeah,
that's a good point. I kind of had Harry Redknapp was his tenure was ending just as I began my roller coaster ride of Spurs fandom.
So you got lots of pictures of him in his car going, "Yeah, right."
Yeah, and I heard that oh, my wife could do something better than that. And he's
Rosie,
like, Sandra's a great footballer.
My wife could have scored that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he's like, well, but Sandra's a great footballer or something. Didn't he follow it up with some kind of like compliment to her, like as to not? I think there was some dump. But anyway, Harry Redknapp, he has the face of the alcoholic. I don't know why. He's just like so red in the face all the time. He looks like he's.
Well, that's because his son's Jamie Redknapp, so you know.
Yeah, that's hard to believe. That I feel like as much as I don't know. I think Harry Redknapp would be like a cool dude to go like have a beer with. But how does Jamie Redknapp suck so bad?
God, no, I can't stand him on Sky. I cannot Dan the man.
No, he's awful and completely has like an agenda. He must hate us for like sacking his dad. But
I mean,
his
what I will say, if you ever want to see how bad Jamie Redknapp is at commentating, I don't even know how he's got a job. I advise everyone to go onto Google right now and type in Jamie Redknapp corner flag. Type in Jamie Redknapp corner flag. It will bring up a video. I advise everyone to do it. Don't YouTube it because you won't find it. Go onto Google, Jamie Redknapp corner flag, and just watch that video. And you'll see he is the. I mean, how he's still got a job after doing this, I do not know. Yeah, did you just seen it?
No, I haven't. I'm just laughing that you actually know that.
I mean, literally,
this
for people that aren't googling it right now, it's Manchester United against Bournemouth, and he goes, "Here you go. Here's the corner flag," and he circles the corner flag. He actually circles the corner flag to show everyone where the corner. It is
the corner flag right there.
Yeah, he goes, "That's the corner flag right there," and then he highlights it. It's like, oh, well, thanks for that riveting bit of information. I wouldn't have known what that was at the time.
He circles the he makes sure to only circle the flag at the very top of the pole too. He doesn't That's the weirdest dumbest thing I've ever seen. What a good
crying out loud, Gordon Bennett.
Have you just seen it now, Jens, or are you just taking my?
No, I've just seen it.
Yeah. I mean, how Sky can go? Do you know what? I want to invest in you because you give such football insights. I do not know. It is. I mean, he is awful. He is shocking.
He scored a goal against the Gooners, though, didn't he? So that's
he did. But you know what? A player that I think I underappreciated, but a player that I thought could have done so much better, and I love now watching his punditry, and he always used to score a goal against the Gooners with Jermaine Genius.
Oh hell yeah!
I mean, I used to go a lot when he was there, and he scored that great free kick against Old Trafford. And everyone thought, "Oh my god, we got something here! We got something!"
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know what it was. He was another one that passed the ball sideways or whatever. But love him or hate him, and I'd be on the side of okay to dislike. I was never like, "Oh my god, he's amazing," but he would always guarantee a performance against the Gooners.
And against the top four.
Yeah,
against the top four, he'd always turn up, but the rest of the time, it just I think he said he had problems with anxiety or something.
Didn't he have an injury?
And
he had an injury, stuff with anxiety. He had a few things. But I tell you what, I mean, there's not a lot of Spurs ex-players that are pundits like on Sky and all that. But when he first became a pundit, I was like, really, Jermaine Genius? But he has done a really good job for BT.
I've always enjoyed when I've seen him.
He's the one that's not. He doesn't seem like he's biased towards us or against.
No, he's actually come out and said his anger's about leaving and the way the club's run. So he's one that won't stay behind the and try and stay in the good books. He's come out publicly and said, "Listen, I don't know what's happening at Tottenham. It's disgraceful." So, and like I said, he's doing very, very well at punditry, very well, and fair play to him.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Brian, did we? I don't know. Did we hear your top four guess?
So, I'm going Chelsea. I said it before the start of the season. Nothing's changed that. I'm now going to change to Manchester United second. And I think it will be... I was saying that I think it will be a walkover, but I think actually with Ronaldo now, Man U are going to make it a lot closer than people think because he is just such a... He's a
game changer for sure.
Oh, but he's more than a game changer, mate. He's a league changer, let alone a game changer. He's a league changer. Then I'm going to go City, as much as I hate to fucking say it. And then I just can't see past Liverpool. I can't see it. People are saying, they haven't really bought people. They haven't, but they've signed some players on long-term contracts, so the players are going to be happy, like the Van Dijks and the Hendersons. I was watching a thing yesterday. I can't remember if it was a stream or Sky Sports News, but apparently Liverpool fans are going mad that Jordan Henderson signed a new contract, but how the what's the group? FG, is it FGW or FW, whatever it is, that own them?
FSG.
FSG. Sorry.
And they kind of announced it on deadline day to make it sound like, oh, we've gone and bought someone.
That sounds familiar.
Don't be silly, Ed. We wouldn't sign. We wouldn't get a player to sign a contract on deadline day. We ripped them up, mate. We ripped them up on deadline day. but yeah, I just can't see past them. I mean, I think, in all honesty, I think this is the last year you're going to see Firmino, Salah, and Mane together. I think one of them are going. I mean, maybe for me, I just think that
Well, yeah,
threesome.
Firmino almost is not the player that he used to be for sure.
No, they're just aging, and I think Jota's going to become the mainstay in there, and he is going to get loads and loads of goals. So I think Liverpool will get fourth.
Yeah.
So basically, exactly what Jamie's just said. Just swap Leicester for.
I don't think Leicester are going to do it. No.
Yeah, Leicester there. That's a shock to me. Most people.
Well, Leicester. Leicester, I have as the one that will be pushing for that fourth, and I think.
Really, that's
Vardy's getting old.
But then they've got Iniacho, who's on fire last season, and because that's a team that does things well. They've got 3 strikers. I mean, I don't know how many we have. They've got that Patson Daka, who now he's another one that's come in from another league but has got all the potential in the world. And the only thing I'll say about him, if Leicester have gone and got him, he's going to turn good with the way they buy. Yeah,
Ryan, did you watch Johnny Einstein's stream earlier today?
No, I was. It's Jewish New Year on Monday, so I'm helping my mother-in-law's friend doing a bit of Jewish food prep. And
Shaya Tova.
I heard something.
Thank you, Todarabah.
I heard something on that stream, and Jens will know what I'm talking about. So apparently, we were in for Adama Traore, and would you like to know what happened?
Oh, please. I mean, am I going to be shocked?
Okay, so Daniel
Levy said no.
Daniel Levy put the brakes on the deal, and
sorry, I'm just passing out of shock.
This is
somebody get him some smelling salts.
This is from someone that may or may not be like, this is an ITK. It's like someone who says they're close to the situation. But it's not like an unbelievable stretch to think that this would be true. But Daniel Levy put a stop to it, not because of financial reasons, but because Daniel Levy doesn't believe in the player. And not only that, but it was like strike one. Next time Paratici walks, that's how pissed off him and Nuno were about it.
Nuno himself was pissed. How would Nuno? It's because it always seemed to me like the way it was presented was that Nuno was the one that was pushing for the deal, having previously had him.
No, Paratici was in on the player as well. So
that's fucking weird.
All I have to say on that is, if that is true, Daniel Levy's lied once again, because Paratici has total control on the footballing side. So that one's gone out, and I'll find out for you on September the 19th when I'm in that ground, and I'll have a few words with that man. I'll be like, listen, I mean, how can you say strike one if this happens again, Paratici? That just shows.
And hey, also everybody knows that you get 3 fucking strikes, so I don't know what he's playing out there.
Yeah, not in England. Not in England.
Warning. Oh, it's a 2-strike. We got a 2-strike system.
Not in England, and second of all, not when Daniel Sodding Parasite Levy.
It depends who's making the rules.
Exactly.
Because if Paratici is saying, okay, you told me that if I came from Juventus, right? Let's face it, like he was leaving Juventus regardless, but if you were made promises by Daniel Levy, and this is an example of a promise being broken, where it was like, okay, this is your budget and you can do whatever you want, and then Levy put the kibosh at the last second on this, Paratici, I mean, it would take a man of serious conviction to just say, fuck you, I'm out of here after one strike like that. But to me, this is it's a concern, because listen, I don't want from a player standpoint, I'm not big on Adama Traore. I'm fine if we don't get him. I think he's way overpriced at what Wolves have been valuing.
Way overrated,
And so in this, like, in terms of having a horse in the race, I tend to agree with Daniel Levy. But if it's the difference between Fabio Paratici being in control and staying at Tottenham, then I say bring Traore in, because it's more valuable to Spurs in the long run to have a director of football who knows football making the decisions, having 2 hands firmly on the wheel, and his feet on the gas and the brakes. Right now, I feel like Paratici, after the way the windows played out, he feels like, okay, I might have my hands on the wheel, but Levy's got his feet on the brakes and the gas. And
Very
what good
true.
is that? What good is that when you're trying to bring an image in your mind to fruition? It's not.
You know what I'll
That's
say
a
on top of
very
that,
good
Cody,
point.
is it comes to the point where with Daniel Levy, if Daniel Levy's saying no to a player, I don't walk, or I'm sure Nuno doesn't walk into his board meetings and go, right, I'm going to build our commercial development and we're going to get this soaring by this far because I know what I'm doing in business. Because no, Nuno doesn't know that. He's a manager. You back the manager. When does a chairman go, oh, yes, I've got my footballing coaching badges, I've done my scouting? They don't do that. So at the end of the day, if Nuno wanted the player, listen, I'm exactly like you. I'm very happy we didn't get him. I don't think he's worth 50 million any day, but
Wait,
if he's worth
50? I thought it was
no,
30.
no, one
No,
point
we
it was
wanted to
50.
pay 30. They wanted
Yeah.
50.
So
Well,
don't get me
that's
wrong. On and I've got to be very careful with my words when I mention Levy here because Cody might record something. So I'm to be very, very careful by the way I word this. Levy was he's there with the button. I can see. I agree with Cody on that. I'm going to say that.
You
I
can't
agree
bring
with
yourself
Cody.
to say the words.
I can't because Cody's already
because it's gonna be
getting done for slander.
clipped.
I don't want to get
Yep.
defamation of character to it as well.
I already have that video saved just in case I ever need it, Brian. Don't cross me.
So, mate, listen. If I cross you, mate, and you show it, I'll do you for definition of character. So I'll double.
Oh, Gordon Bennett, here we go.
I know, but then everyone
This is going to
knows.
be a class action suit.
Come on, let's
get
get the knuckle dusters out. Come on.
But then everybody thinks that you love the bald man.
Like I said, getting back to the point. I mean, he isn't a 50 million pound player. I would have rather we'd gone for Ismail Sarr or Maximum. If we're going to take a punt, go for one of those two. So I can understand that. But what right? You bring in a director of football so they can do this, and then you say no, it's just one big bag of nonsense. And it's it's just like literally. I don't know. I mean, it just beggars belief what goes on with him and what. Like, there's been a lot of slack recently saying that the Levy outs are very, very negative and we're about whatever. And it's just like, well, no, we're not being negative. We're being real. You come at me and like people are saying, oh yeah, but we kept Kane. It's a great window. We didn't keep Kane. Kane couldn't get out of there. There was no one to get him out.
But we did sign Sonny to a new deal. So there's a little bit of optimism there.
No, there's a little bit of optimism. Don't get me wrong. With Son signing, it's great for the club for us as the fans. It's great for the club commercially as well. There's no doubt about that. That is a huge thing commercially.
Gosh, yeah.
But the thing is, what we've done is with this season, when Kane said he's advised that he's going to stay because of what happened. This should have been the time where we said, right, we're going to go and show you that we're going to match your intentions.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, and I don't mean go and spend 50 million here, 80 million here. Just bring in players that are recognised to show him, okay, for one season, you've done something. Because, like your mum was saying, if Kane gets injured, we're screwed. Because then you're taking Son out of his best position and taking him there. You're then putting someone who can't even get into the team to go into Son's position. So you made your team weaker already. But it's not only that we're going to put all this pressure on Scarlett if Kane gets injured. We're putting all this pressure on Kane not to get injured. And if you don't stay fit and you don't play every game and you don't score the goals, then we're screwed. So it's just, again, I mean, how can you go 6 years? I mean, this guy's meant to be great at business. And surely he knows, being the only team that wins with one striker recognised and established, and not winning one trophy in 20 years. Do you know what? Maybe we don't score enough goals. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I need more than one striker.
It's pretty sad, isn't it? It's pretty sad.
Yeah. And it puts too much pressure on Kane to come back quickly when he gets too early from injuries. And, I mean, God love him. He loves to chase those individual scoring records and things like that. But, it's not good for him or us to play him in every single game,
Correct.
Absolutely. And it frustrates me. Do you think I say this all the time, like in jest, but I kind of am serious. Do you guys think that Harry Kane has a clause in his contract that dictates that he gets to play whenever he wants?
He has to play every game. Yeah.
He's that big. He's that big. It's the same with with England, man. It doesn't matter if they're playing Andorra. I don't know if that. I understand the premise of it. That I surely do. But surely the medical staff, if Harry Kane wants to play and he's not like, and I know this is going to sound stupid, but it's kind of like when American wrestlers in the WWE go to, they have to get cleared. They have to for physical, even though they're not getting hurt or they're not injured. You know what I mean? Accidents can happen and they can really injure themselves, but they have to be medically cleared to be able to go on to. But when you're bigger than the club and you got more power than the doctor, right? You know, and you're that much of a draw. You've got that much sway in the club. Like Harry isn't the type of lad to say, "I want a day off," and I do think he needs proper medical advice. He does need to be told, "No, take a day off." You know, but I don't think he's the type of guy who will.
I just don't. Don't get me wrong. I completely agree. Like the way it's being perceived and the way it looks. It certainly looks like you guys are right, but I'm talking literally from a medical profession,
and also from like the club protecting their assets point of view. I think there's probably legal shit involved because, like, you know, he's an asset to the club, and I'm sure that he's insured or something, and if he was injured, that would be like against. That probably wouldn't fly with whatever clauses is in place with this insurance. So I think that there probably are times where where he can't play and they have. But,
I understand that he's going to play every chance he feels like he can. I'm not sure if sometimes he's the best judge of that, but I think he puts so much pressure. He carries so much sway with the club, and he's such a huge asset that if he's willing, I think that it carries a lot of weight. But yeah, I agree that there has to be medical intervention if he's trying to do something stupid, with his safety of his ankles and such.
When he's on his game, he's the best player at the club. So,
he wants to break every record.
But when he's not, we need to give someone else a go. So,
look, I hate to bring everything back to cycling.
Bad Harry Kane's better than most of our other players.
Well, Sonny
I hate to bring.
Too bad.
Sorry.
I think Sonny up front is not too bad.
Can I just use another sport as a reference here? And I hate to bring everything back to cycling, which is my second passion, right? But there was lads who cycled the Tour de France with broken collarbones against, their doctor's wishes because they had the power to say, "I'm going to carry on." I think Harry Kane is that type of guy. I think regardless, he always comes back from injury too soon. He'll always throw himself in, regardless of whether he's properly fit or not, because he just wants to win. He wants to achieve. He wants to beat the records. Yeah, and I think I always consider him like a Tour de France cyclist, a lad that will dislocate his shoulder or break his collarbone and keep pedaling, and I think that's the mentality that Harry has. Sorry to, like I said, introduce another sport, but they're my two favorite sports.
Yeah, no, I think you're totally right. I mean, I get where everyone's coming from and why we think that it would be cool to know. I hope someday that somebody writes a book about it or something.
Oh, you know for sure when Harry Kane retires. Sure when Harry Kane retires, there's a book coming out, and that's when the story will come out. Yeah. That's when.
Just hope he doesn't write it himself.
No, I was going to say, don't you think Charlie will write it? I was
Got him. But yeah, no, definitely. To answer your question, no. I don't think he will. But shit, man. Spurs. The life of a Spurs supporter.
Correct.
Oh, mate, did you live through the 90s?
40 years of it, man.
No, see, I was lucky enough to just be a young child in the 90s.
The 90s were... After 91, it all kind of went to...
that was my birth year, 1991. Maybe I cursed the club by being born.
91. Oh my God.
As well. I mean, when we speak about the 90s and the 90s, so I started when I first started going to Tottenham with my dad. It was when Gazza was there in '88, and that's when I started.
Yeah.
Like I saw Hoddle once or whatever, but I watched a lot of Hoddle on TV.
Is that
But-
Lucas Moura?
He's
It's
here.
who-
He's
Come on, you
at my
Spurs,
house.
come on, you Spurs, come on, you Spurs.
Oh, yeah. So
Sorry.
Gazza, obviously, I saw all the time.
Yeah.
And like I said, 91 won the FA Cup, and then we had the whole Venables, Sugar, whatever. And even though the 90s, we still had, if you go back in the 90s and look at the stars we had, all right,
Yeah.
the football may not have been as good. But what you got to remember, and don't get me wrong, Alan Sugar deserves a lot of the critics or criticism he gets. But people have got to remember, if it had not been for Alan Sugar, there would be no Tottenham, period. That we
Very
wouldn't,
true. Yeah.
none of us would know
Yeah.
anyone. There would be no We Are Tottenham TV. There'd be none of us. Also, all right.
Yeah, probably no Amstrad Sky Sports deal as well, you know. But anyway,
There you go. And then, but you look at it as well, and all right, Levy's built the stadium, but you got to remember back then as well. Sugar built the Park Lane. He built the Paxton.
He
He
did the West
also
Stand as well, didn't he?
no, the West Ham was Scholar.
That was it.
Because
Okay.
in '87 we had our game abandoned against Coventry on the first game because it weren't done yet. And Gazza was playing his debut at Newcastle. Cody's calling me Rain Man in his head. I can see it. And then what you got to remember as well, like I said, we had players like Klinsmann. How he got Jurgen Klinsmann, a player of that ilk
Yeah.
at that time.
Dumitrescu.
we got him twice, man. We got him twice.
Yeah, but when we signed Klinsmann, no European football, no chance of qualifying for Europe, no chance for a league title, no nothing. In that season that Klinsmann come, remember we had a 12-point deduction. We were out of the FA Cup. He got the 12 points gone. He got the FA Cup back in, and we got to the semi-final. And then also we won, like you said, we won 2 cups under him in 10 years. So yes, don't get me wrong, it ended badly, and again, it was still we lost a lot of players that we could have had, and that will always be a Spurs fan. But there were some good things in the 90s. We can't.
But the football was not very good, and we
No,
flirted
that-
with relegation a lot.
Yeah,
more
no, that
then than we
you
do
got to
now.
remember but that was the
Yeah.
expectations then. The expectations
Yeah,
then.
yeah, no,
If
that's
we
very true,
if we finished 12th to 8th,
yeah, we were happy.
and we beat the Arsenal and had a good cup run, that was like we'd won the league. That was like we'd literally.
I almost is it bad that I almost yearn for that? Like I love Spurs, but I almost wish that we could go back to. I mean, I don't because I know what we're capable of and I know we can reach it. But I just
There's
feel
too
like
much expectation, I think.
maybe a
We
tiny
can't
bit.
keep
I
up
don't.
with these money teams.
Do you know what I was thinking? Jens and Aaron will be able to answer this question. And like we talk about, we're lacking the creative player. Do you know what? I was sitting back yesterday just thinking, do you know what? Can you imagine a 1990 after World Cup prime Paul Gascoigne in this team?
Oh, stop, man. Yeah.
In
I
this
mean, that
team,
would
Yeah,
be.
with
we'd
Harry
win the
Kane.
quadruple.
Mate, if honestly, it would literally be. I would be like,
Where would
oh, here we-
you? So I know that he was a pretty creative player, a good dribbler. He was a striker,
Pretty.
though, right?
Pretty creative, man. The guy was England's Maradona. You know, I mean, he was.
How
For
did
me,
he
Fantastic.
become?
until the day Tottenham Hotspur cease to
I'm not
exist,
gonna. That's
he
gonna
will
be
be the
however
greatest
long
player
it remembers me.
ever that I will ever say was. I'm obsessed with that man. He is incredible.
I've watched some compilation videos, which I'm sure don't do him justice. I need to watch like some full matches to really get the picture.
There isn't enough videos about Gaza. That's the problem. There isn't
Aaron,
enough.
You only
I
need
don't
to
know-
He,
watch-
I don't know-
he,
I don't
he
know
only
made
need
some
to-
very
see
mazy
the-
runs.
I don't know if you'd watched the DVD, but I know it's on. I think I sent it to you as well, Cody, didn't I? Gaza the Real Me documentary. Let me find the link and I'll put it in the private chat.
Is that the one that came out a couple of years ago?
No, this came out. This was
Oh,
like so.
25, 30 years ago.
This is when he was still at Tottenham. So this was my
Oh, I haven't seen that.
first Christmas present, or one of my first Christmas presents I can remember as a kid. My first CD single ever was Paul Gascoigne, "Fog on the Tyne."
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Seriously.
But you didn't have Glenn Hoddle and Chris Waddle, Diamond Lights, huh?
Ah, mate, it was all about "Fog on the Tyne." Is all mine, oh mine. Fog on the Tyne is all mine. Come on. So.
Why don't I know about this beautiful, beautiful thing? What? So wait, he recorded music. He was a musical
no,
artist.
oh, mate,
seriously,
Paul Gascoigne was
seriously,
on everything.
If you
Paul
value
Gascoigne-
your earlobes, don't do it.
I think that makes me want to do it even more. Now I just really
Oh,
want
mate,
to.
mate, I've got to say it's better than Diamond Lights. Come on.
Oh yeah, well,
Come on, Diamond Lights was a classic, man. I still bang that out of karaoke.
Oh, mate,
So where would Gaza like? I'm ignorant. Was he a striker or more of an attacking midfielder?
no, he
type
was.
player?
This is when 4-4-2s was all
So
you
he was
played.
one of the
And then
top
you had in
playing up top.
midfield like a Højbjerg who did all that bit, and then you had like a creative one.
Yeah, Chrissy
And-
Waddle running down one wing.
And mate, you remember when we sold Chrissy Waddle, we had Gazza and Lineker. We had the three of them together.
Oh yeah.
Oh, stop. Yeah.
That would have been.
Man.
You can't really put Paul Gascoigne in a box.
We're talking about three of the best players that I've seen in my lifetime here. Waddle, Lineker for the poaching in the box. Waddle for just, striding in and beating a couple of players. And Gaza just picking out a pass from nowhere, driven past a few. And, Glenn Hoddle, don't get me going here.
I've put the link in the private
Nice
chat. Now, this documentary is all behind the scenes with Gazza, and it's straight after, or the season after the World Cup. So when we came back against Man City and he scored that goal when he was on the left-hand side against Man City, and it's all behind the scenes. And then it starts off there, but then they go right back to his family in Newcastle and just look at Gazza as he grew up and what people saw in him. It is an incredible document. There's so many on YouTube. If you just type Gazza, there are so many. I have about 16 saved on my tablet because every time I need to, literally, I would always just watch Paul Gascoigne because there's things he could do on a football pitch, and this is when the pitches weren't what they were.
Right, and the standard of play wasn't to where it is now. But I think that he would still. I mean, from what I can tell, he would still be able to. There's a lot of players from that era that wouldn't keep up with the game today, but he would translate into today's game very well.
Honestly, like you saw when I said to Aaron and Lenz, if we could put a fit peak of his powers, 1990 Paul Gascoigne in this Tottenham team, where we would be, it would be. I would literally be saying Tottenham first.
I'll be Man City every season. No problem.
How do I access the private chat, by the way, there, Brian? I'm not very familiar with how all this works.
Don't worry, man. I'll send you to private. I'll send you privately on Twitter.
Yeah, nice one, man. Yeah, thank you.
I'll do it for you right
Brian,
now, brother.
Brian's a good man.
So, like,
don't tell me when I said that.
The one dimension.
Somebody's probably recorded it.
The one dimension about
you banged your eyes, mate.
That gets lost in all of this is that he was an absolute fucking nutter.
His agent didn't help much.
This man was absolutely pure. He just dripped entertainment. Walking out on the pitch, and the cameras would be there, and he would be just walking along like a pro, like this and everything, and then all of a sudden he would just be like, he was.
He had a few.
He had a cool mullet too, from what I remember.
Are we still on Gaza here? Or are we still on Gaza? Yeah, Gaza never had a mullet, man. Well, he did when he played at Newcastle, but like possibly when he played at Newcastle. But look, all the creative geniuses, Maradona, Georgie Best, Gaza, they're all a little bit, mad in the head. I mean, Picasso. I mean, these guys were artists, and shit, how we could do with a few players like them these days, man. They're all sterile now. There's nothing like that anymore.
So, do you remember that story about when they were training and Gaza kicked it over the other side of the pitch or something, or over someone's garden, and he said, I'll be right back. And then 2 days later, he turned up with the ball, and everyone was like, "Where you been?" He's like, "Oh, don't worry about it." So 2 days later.
There's so. I mean, you were just about to mention his agent, Lenz. I guess you're talking about Mel Steen.
I was going to say Jimmy Five Bellies.
Oh, okay.
Jimmy Five Bellies, another legend, man.
I mean, him and Jimmy Five Bellies have fallen out big time. They don't even talk to each other anymore. But Paul Gascoigne,
well, he wasn't a great influence on him, was he?
Because he's Jimmy Ten Bellies now.
Paul Gascoigne came to my synagogue.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because his agent is, I was about to say, Mel Steen. Okay. So I played football with his son. In a Jewish youth club. So when it was his bar mitzvah, it was he came to the synagogue for his agent's son's bar mitzvah. You've never seen a temple or a synagogue packed. It was like three people to a table to a chair. The rabbi went up to do the sermon. And he said, "Listen, you've all come for Gaza. I think Gaza should do the sermon." And then Gaza went to get up and do it, and it was like no. But then he had to leave, and it was actually in that '91 FA Cup run when he battered Oxford single-handedly at home. Yeah. I've met him on quite a few occasions. He is.
Damn.
I've met him on a few. I've got quite, but the worst one I saw with him is. So my cousin used to work at a restaurant on Park Lane. He used to be the manager of the Park Lane Hilton. Not the whole thing, but the gallery of the windows restaurant at the top. And it's the one right on Park Lane. And Gaza used to go there, or when he's been on one of his benders like as is, and literally
up in windows.
He used to pass my cousin, and every time my cousin went past, he went, "Hey, Tottenham fan," and kept putting £50 notes in my cousin. And then when Gaza left, my cousin went, "There you go, £2,500. He didn't even realise. He just kept giving him 50 off his nut every time he walked past. Gaza, Spurs fan. And then the best story I have with him is so I used to work in Harrods on the 5th floor in the sports department.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And this was in 2000. So he'd left Tottenham ages ago. And I think it was just before his breakup with Cheryl because he's still with her. And when we worked in Harrods, we were, about 20. And if you work in Harrods, there's so many fit people that walk in there. And when the movie stars or whatever walk in, like, oh my God. So when a hot girl used to walk in, all the guys used to go, look. So in Harrods, as you walk through the little, there's nothing little at Harrods, like from department across. Yeah. I was standing there and one of them was like, look at that woman, I was like, that's Cheryl Gascoigne. If Cheryl Gascoigne's there, that means that it's going to be Paul, and Paul walked through. And I thought I said it quietly, but I actually said, "Oh my God, I love you." And he just looked at me. Gaza just looked at me. He went, "Spurs fan?" I went, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, come with me." So I went shopping. I was like his personal shopper. But then the best bit after it all, he spent quite a fair bit of money, and this is before chip and pin and whatever. And I was putting his credit card through, and it went through for authorization. Like people spend big money, they wanted to check for fraud or whatever. So I went through its authorization, and it was a Geordie that picked up, and they asked me to read the card, and I read the card number, blah, 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 blah. They're like, "Who have you got there?" And I went, "Paul Gascoigne." And it was a Geordie. He was like, "The Paul Gascoigne." I was like, "Well, you tell me, I'm in Harrods, I'm calling you, there's like a 30,000 bill going through. What do you reckon?" And he goes, "No, mate." And I put him on the phone. Gaza spoke to this guy for 5 minutes. I got back on the phone and this guy was crying his eyes out. It was like, "Oh my God, thank you so much." That's the impact. That's the impact this man had. Yeah. He would stop and sign he was the first footballer that came after George Best, obviously. Like Gaza Mania just swept the nation.
Yeah.
And this is when alcohol was still drunk. I mean, if Gaza was in his prime, maybe not even at Tottenham right now. If Paul Gascoigne was in his prime anywhere right now, he would be the best player in the world. And I'm including Messi and Ronaldo in that. He is that good on his day.
Brilliant story, Brian. Brilliant. That's fantastic to hear, man.
I've tried to reach out to Gaza on so many occasions because there's been so many times when he's ill. And I've tried to reach out to him, like whether it be by Twitter or whatever, to say, "Listen, I fought those demons. I know what it's like. If you ever need to talk, just anything I could." Whenever there's been like a thing when he's been ill, I've stood up, even if I'm at home and it's like stand up and clap. Anything for that man, I would do. I love him more than life itself when it comes to Gaza.
I had my hair cut like
that story was worth this whole entire stream.
Now the world knows.
He's a great. It's just the media have killed him. I mean, in England they hacked his phones. Like there's another documentary. I'll send you quite a lot of them.
They killed him.
Where they literally he split with his family and didn't talk to his family because he thought his family was selling stories about him, but it weren't. It was a paper back home that'd been tapping his phones. The police came in, used to check into hotels and going benders. The Sun, and this is why
the Mirror by any chance?
The Mirror. But what the Sun did once, and it was proven, what they used to do for Gaza is they used to drop there'll be like 8 to 10 or whatever amount of empty bottles of vodka, whiskey, whatever. And then they'll put a little note in the bottom of it, like in the bottle. Then they'd ring the doorbell, run away, and then they'd open the door. Gaza would look at the bottle, see there's a note, go down and pick the note up, bang, 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 in the paper.
Yeah, pathetic, horrible. They're vermin.
But you've you read his book. Like, he didn't actually hit the booze until kind of later on in his. He wasn't into the booze in his early years. It was. Yeah, it was kind of more, I think, in his maybe early to mid 20s that he wasn't some lad who was on the piss from like 16 years old, like most of the Irish lads. It was a very sad story. I think it was when he. Robbie Keane, growing up in Tala, was look. I could tell you stories about Robbie. I don't want to go into too much detail.
I could give you one about Robbie.
I want to hear it now.
Aaron.
Robbie Keane. Yeah, well, Robbie used to be a local joyrider. He used to be good at stealing cars when he was a teenager.
Huh.
So one thing I will say with Robbie.
I mean, come on.
One thing I will say with Robbie, it was the season. Like the season finished, it was the summer that he was going to Liverpool, and where
Edgar Davids?
No, Robbie.
Yeah, no. So you're not going to tell me that the time he knocked out Edgar Davids in training?
No.
Oh, I remember that one.
This story is highly embarrassing for me, and I can't believe. Oh, fuck it, I'll say it.
All right, get it on.
Cody, get record ready. So it was a season, but the summer that Robbie was leaving for Liverpool. Now, Robbie Keane when he was playing for Tottenham, lived in a very affluent area, which is about 3 minutes from my parents' house, called Hadley Wood, which is where a lot of the players live. Lennox Lewis, the boxer, lives there. Burkamp lived there. It's like one of the foregoing places. But anyway, Cockfosters, North London.
Oh, right, yeah.
So Hadley Wood is just as if you're going to the M25.
Okay.
So there's a pub just by Cockfoster Station behind a cricket pitch it's now called the Cock and Dragon, or it still is the Cock and Dragon, but you will not know that pub's there unless you live in this area. It's like behind this cricket pitch. So anyway, I was still drinking then. That's how long ago this was. And they're getting absolutely smashed. And then it was the day after the football season finished. Robbie Keane walked in with Alan Hutton. And Alan Hutton.
I would have walked out. Alan Hutton.
You know what? The guy is a beast. The guy is a unit. He is a beast. His Scottish accent scared the shit out of me. Yeah. Like literally, and they are knocking back cider like it's going out of fashion. And literally, Robbie Keane had scored his 100 goals. And I thought, you know what? I've got to go and speak. It's Robbie Keane. Oh my God. So I kept walking all the way over there. And I walked over thinking, do you know what? What am I going to say to him? I got up to him. And literally what I wanted to say was, Robbie, what a wonderful season. Thanks for your hard work. Great memories, great goals. Well done for hitting 100. But I said in this voice, probably about 50 tones higher though, yay, Robbie, great season, great goals, yay! In front of him and Alan Hutton. Alan Hutton looked at me as if he was going to eat me. And I literally thought he was just going to bite my head.
Jimmy!
Oh, mate, he just looked at me like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, mate, literally, I did a Friends from in between us, but I literally was like Mickey Mouse on helium. And yeah, that didn't go down too well with him.
I thought you were going to say you walked over and said, top of the morning to you, Robbie.
Oh, no.
But you're,
no, I mean, mate,
at least you didn't do that one.
You know what? I think that may have been slightly racist, but I think that might have come across better than what I actually did. But yeah, but Robbie there's a lot of them that drink in that pub. I mean, Edgar Davids lived in Hadley Wood as well. A few of them do, but yeah, Robbie Keane was putting away ciders. Like, fair play to him. You know what I mean? It was the last day. The season had just finished. You have your 6 weeks to do whatever the hell you want. If you do what you do with your bodies all year round, you have this summer. But yeah, oh my God. Honestly, Alan Hutton, he looked like a maniac on the pitch. Up close and personal? No. He looks like Jason.
I'm surprised him and Robbie were friends, because Alan Hutton was a Hun, wasn't he? A Rangers boy.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Yeah, and Robbie being a bit of a Celtic boy.
Piss up buddies.
Yeah, true.
I wouldn't have thought that as much on the mainland, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, hey, look, it doesn't matter anymore these days. You know, it's not like 30 years ago.
Like literally, mate, honestly, I can't believe how high my voice was. That I was like, oh no.
I can, because you've just done an impression of yourself.
Oh, no, but you know what? That seems incredibly low compared to what it was. Trust me, that was like the low version.
Good stories, man. Great stories.
I only wish I could have been there. Jeez.
Aaron, also, I'll send you the link on Twitter, buddy.
I've got
nice one, man. I'll be watching that once I get off here.
Oh, mate,
I've got one story of when we played Watford in a pre-season friendly, and I grew up near Watford, so I had a mate who was I had a number of mates who were Watford fans. So we went in the Watford end to watch the game, and we went into something that was called Harry's Bar, which was Harry the Hornet, which is their what do you call it?
Their mascot.
Yeah, their mascot. And then after the game, we went in Harry's Bar afterwards as well, and we came out about 45 minutes after everyone else had left, and we start seeing the Tottenham players walk out, and I'm like, bloody hell, yeah, there's a coach there, and my mate walks up to someone and he says, "Gordon Bennett, you look just like John Gorman." And he, yeah, that's because I am. And so, yeah, he just walked up to John Gorman and he said, "You look just like him." And it was him. and then I would have walked out and, we all got a handshake. And, yeah,
still to this day, I always say, when anyone says to me who's the most influential player or you saw on the pitch, every single time put Gary Mabbott on and off the pitch.
Oh, Gary
do
Mabbott,
you know what?
Yeah.
One of the nicest guys you could ever. He is incredible. What an ambassador for the club.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll tell you another one who's up there on his level, Chrissy Houghton, man. Chrissy Houghton, I've met him a couple of times, and he was a lovely, absolute gentleman. Always had time for you. My uncle was a printer at the Irish Independent newspapers, and he was a big Tottenham fan since 1948. So whenever Chrissy Houghton was arriving back into town, he'd always bring me out to the airport, and Houghton would always, like, I was only a young fella, 8 or 9 years old, and Houghton was, he'd call him over and they'd have a little chat with the journalist, and then, we'd get introduced. And
nice to have
Chrissy
you, man.
Houghton,
Sorry to interrupt you.
Jamie.
Night, Jamie. Nice to have you, man. Sorry, go ahead. I really am sorry for interrupting you, Aaron. I just had to say goodbye to
No problem. I'm just talking waffle here. Get Jamie in.
Oh no, he's going.
No, I have to say one of the least friendly players I've ever met was Paul Miller.
Oh,
I met him at a Legends do or something at White Hart Lane, and I walked up and I said, "Hello, Maxie." Yeah, and he looked at me as if he was going to headbutt me. So I was like, "Yeah."
You probably deserved it.
That wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, I probably had a few ales, so yeah.
man.
It's amazing. Some of them are great. Some of them are just incredible characters and have what they know the job they've got.
Yeah,
and they
Paul
will
Allen.
stop and sign everything
Absolutely
for
brilliant.
everyone.
Yeah.
And then you have the players like that. I mean, the worst person, and he's an arrogant mother. And literally,
Careful.
He's awful, and I mean, he's so awful. And he lived in another guy that lived in this area. He's a filthy gooner, and it was Jack Wiltshire. He is the most arrogant.
Why does that not surprise me?
Mate, honestly, he is honestly. He in Cot Fosters he'd be about, and people, even kids, would run up to him, and he wouldn't sign for kids. He was also Chesney, but Wiltshire honestly was just an horrible guy.
But isn't that kind of a trend of the modern times that a lot of these players, like back in the 80s, 90s, were dead friendly, and now since the internet and the noughties and the 2010s and that, they've all become so arrogant and so Instagramish and leave me alone and don't touch me and don't talk to me and standoffish. I nearly admire Wings for running around the crowd there during the friendly, trying to get a few selfies.
Well, I've heard that Mora will always.
He's a lovely chap.
Yeah,
lovely guy apparently. Yeah.
You look at people like Ben Foster at Watford, who is
great guy. Is he the goalkeeping cyclist?
Yeah. Because
yeah.
Ben Foster as well. One of the best stories I've heard about Ben Foster, he said it on his. It was on the news as well. Is apparently he was driving home from a Watford game at one point, and he just saw a man walking across the M1 or M25, or he was just walking on the hard shoulder, and he pulled him over to make sure he was okay. And apparently, he was a Watford fan that had really started suffering from dementia, and he just walked off after the game, and his family why hasn't he gone home? and apparently it was like literally someone was meant to pick him up, and he wasn't at the meeting spot, and he must have just thought, right, whatever. Ben Foster took him home, and then paid for him, his son, his grandson, and I think granddaughter their season tickets for 10 years, and made sure that like there was an official Watford driver that drove that man home to and from every single home game.
Brilliant.
And Ben Foster just literally said, until this guy passes away, this family just keep putting. Even Ben Foster is incredible, and it's acts like that. Like you look at Jermaine Defoe and what he did with Bradley. I mean, did you guys hear about this over here?
We did, yeah.
Cody, you knew that about Jermaine Defoe? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember when that was happening back home. That just swept the world, or definitely took over England. Jermaine Defoe is incredible. So you get some of them like that, but I know what you're saying. It's like the 90s, they were a lot friendly, but there's people that use the Instagram and social for stupidity, and there are some decent ones.
There really are.
Ben Foster and Jermaine Defoe are definitely right up there.
Mm-hmm. So, sorry, you said let's talk about whatever. Did you have?
Yeah, no, that was. I just put that up because that's what we're doing.
In mind.
We already are. I was just letting anyone who's watching know that we're just talking about whatever, and that's how I like it. Just
It's free flowing.
Keeping it cash.
Yeah.
Cash.
I just wanted to ask you, Brian. Where was it you were in Israel when you lived there?
So, I first of all went off with Birthright, which was like a 10-day tour. If you hadn't been to Israel, I came back. Yeah. Then I said, you know what, I'm thinking about moving out there. So my mum said, you know what, go out there for a year or so. So I went out and I went on a couple of kibbutzes. I went on one called Rivavim and one called where was it up top? Baram.
I was on Dovrat for 6 months or 7 months back in '96.
Okay, so I moved out in 2004, and then in 2005 I was in Eilat for 2 years. Then I was in Tiberias during the war with Lebanon in 2006 during the Germany World Cup. Literally had a Katusha hit me across not hit me. Funnily enough, if a Katusha hit me, I wouldn't be on a stream. But literally across the road from me, which was the most scariest noise I've ever heard in my entire life. And then I did a bit in Tel Aviv, which is where I met my Canadian wife.
Okay. Yep.
And then came home and then spent a few years there before moving to the greatest country in the world, and the greatest province in the world, and the greatest town in the world. So,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. I just wanted to ask a quick question.
Oh no, mate. But ask me as well. Believe me, I'm an open book when it comes to questions. If I want to give you the answer, you'll know. But I'm never. It's why I'm so open about my. As Cody knows, and Cody thankfully is always one to pick up the show I did on my old channel, Tottenham Away, which was May the 4th, which was about mental health and addiction.
Yes.
And I was very, very. Cody has a glass of wine. He's doing it for me. That's why he's a brother of mine. He's doing it for me. And so yeah. So I'm always very, very open about it because I'm one of those that think, you know what? Yeah, I may have had mental health, I may have had addiction, but there's people that keep it quiet, or there's people that can help and say to people, especially now I've got somewhat of a platform. And I'm still from that show. I'm still speaking to about 6 or 7 people.
Oh, nice one.
That reached out to me just for, not just to help them, but to say, listen, how did you do it? I know someone or someone. It may be them, or it may be the person that. But I've always been that way. That it's so any question anyone asks me, I'll always give them the honest answer. Unless you ask if I like Levy, and then I'm like, yeah, I love him. Oh,
you've said it twice now. No, you said he was right once, and then you said you loved him.
Cody, don't fear. Cody, I love you.
Oh, that's a new story.
Mate, you know what? I don't want to go to bed now because I just wake up to about 58,000 messages.
Yeah, I think I've got to go to bed now though, because the little one will be up in 3 hours, and yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Well,
so anyway, lovely to talk to you, people.
Lenz. Now I know your name.
It's Jens, not Lenz.
Michael. Michael,
just call me Ricky, Rodney, or Dave. It's all good.
All right, Dave. You have a good one, my friend.
Yeah, take care. Have a good night.
See you later, Jens.
See you later. Bye.
He's a top
bloke. I called him Lenz. He's a good dude, though. He's always around. like I said, I do these whenever I'm just bored, kind of, and just want to talk to people. And he's always down to jump in and do just
It's
that.
fantastic.
So
I was actually on Johnny Einstein's stream with Brian Ireland last Friday, and I saw him, and then I knew the face, and then I saw him on. I kept seeing him on streams, but whenever he'd been on Tottenham on Tour, it was down as Ricky Villa. But I'd seen him and known he was and then I put the two together. So I've been on a few streams with him now. I've got a lot of time for him. He's a great guy.
oh yeah, definitely, and supportive of my channel whenever like I pointed out when I'm really doing nothing except for just talking. But he likes to be part of it, and that automatically makes you cool in my book. But okay,
Colin, dude, I think I'm going to be out too.
Peace.
Last
Peace
man
out.
standing. Bye, Tommy.
I'm running out. Bye, guys. Good talking to you. I like listening to your stories.
Whenever
Bye,
you want
y'all.
to hear them, just let me know and I'll pop on.
Awesome. Bye.
See ya.
So I'm surprised that she didn't talk about it, but yeah, we finally got our trip to London planned for the whole world to know about. But yeah, dude, I'm going December 28th through January 8th.
Nice.
It's gonna be awesome. I'm really excited. We had it planned. We were gonna leave right before COVID, and then
Yeah, I remember you saying
travel bans. So yeah, I got that all fixed and planned out. So it sucks that our paths aren't gonna intertwine. I'm sad that I'm not going sooner.
Well,
and then we could have it.
One thing I am going to try is when Cody actually says he's going to London, I'm going to try and get to London during the time Cody's there, so I can go around London with Cody. Obviously, try and go to a game with him, but obviously chill with Cody in my city because it'll be a great thing. As I said, I mean, I still get very. I've spoken about it a few times with my wife on the time I met Cody, and that was just me and him meeting in a pub to watch his first game with other Spurs fans. But to then take it to the next level, to think, do you know what? I met this guy via We Are Tottenham TV. We exchanged numbers. We then started doing a couple of streams together. I then met him, and now I'll see him in London. Hopefully, one day. It's just an incredible story.
Honestly,
Absolutely.
listen. One thing I've learned about interacting with UK people is that like the weather in the UK is very much the extremes are closer together than they are in Canada. Like Canada, the summertime it's like 30, 35 degrees. Wintertime you could get minus 35. The UK is like either like anywhere between like -5 or 25. And anything outside of that is like ridiculously extreme. So for me, like the long-term view is if I can escape the snow and go live in the UK for 4 months a year and be a season ticket holder and support Tottenham and put up with the UK weather in November, December, January, February instead of the Canadian weather in November, December, January, February, I don't see why that would be any worse than, because I'm not like a beach bum, you know what I mean? Like, and by the time I'm ready to retire, I mean, it might be, we might be in beach weather at Christmas in the UK. So
I'll tell you one thing, Cody. When my wife first came to England, I know that you're with the West. So when my wife came to England, she came to England Christmas Day 2013. That was her first time coming over to visit me. And when she left here, it was when Toronto, I don't know if you got it as far north as you are, you had some really bad ice storms. Like it was like proper. So she flew over and I met her on Christmas Day. She landed at about 6:30 in the morning. I think it was like 1 degrees or 0. I've never seen -5, Cody, in London. Never. But it may have been like maybe -1. And I was like in a woolly hat, a scarf, a snood, my woolly jacket, my gloves, my long johns. Ilana got out of the car or out of the airport, and by the time we got to the car, she was wearing a t-shirt. And I was taking her around the West End on New Year's Eve. I went out for a nice meal and whatever. Everyone else in London's wrapped up warm, and there's my then girlfriend, soon to be my wife, walking around in t-shirt and jeans, and everyone looking at her like, "Are you with some kind of nutcase?" And she's like, "No, I'm from Canada." They're like, "Oh, carry on." It's like literally the weather. Even when I go back now, not now because the weather should be nice this time. When I normally go back in January, February, I walk around in a jumper, like a sweater and no jacket. I'm like, how are you guys cold? So yeah,
I actually did like a 5-6 week like backpack trip through Europe, and towards the tail end, which was December in Italy. I went to Rome and Florence and everything, and the weather there was like 10, 11 degrees Celsius. And I was walking around in shorts and sandals.
Yep.
Because I came from like Berlin and up north where it was snowing. And even in Berlin and everything, I was just wearing like a heavy sweater. But like, obviously, I must have stood out like a sore thumb because like the Italians, like the locals, were wearing like full on Canadian winter jackets. And I'm like, man, it is so beautiful and sunny. I love it here. It's just hilarious. Just
mate, I've learned here that 3 degrees is lovely and warm. That's what you learn here.
Can I nerd it out for you, lads? Can I nerd it out for you here for a moment, right? UK and Ireland, we have a temperate, moderate climate because we have an ocean stream that comes from the Bahamas, basically, right? The Caribbean, right? So there's a warm Gulf Stream, let's say, that goes through the water, which means that we get a lot of water rising up and dropping over UK and Ireland. Then you have the Scirocco that comes up, which is a wind that comes from Africa, which is warm weather, which is why Cody experienced warm weather in Italy. And then you have a Siberian wind that comes down from the north of Europe, which hits places like Berlin, Germany, Denmark, and Scandinavia. Sorry for being a nerd about this stuff, but yeah, there you go, lads.
Not a nerd at all. That's interesting. Add that to the list of you got to learn something every day.
I will say, like humidity had a big part to play because I did go through Belgium and I did like a
Belgium's the most boring country in Europe. Never go there.
Oh yeah, it's the most boring, but it's one of the most historic countries as well. If you're talking about like, World War and everything, so I did a day trip out through Flanders Fields, and like it's a very low-lying country, and 5 degrees there, given the humidity, will feel like closer to 0 or -2 just based on the humidity. So I get what you're saying, but like. Temperatures are temperatures at the same time. Like you can factor in humidity if you want as like an aspect of it, but like it's not the fact that it was like a big difference between like going from Berlin to Italy. It was the fact that like, okay, despite how cold it is for the locals, I'm finding it balmy because of where I come from.
Aaron, what's
you come from squirrel territory, man.
Yeah.
Aaron, what's the weather like now back home?
Oh, we're probably about 15. About 15 degrees, we're cozy. We like it. It's reasonable.
Oh, it's been another. I mean, we're still in the high 20s here at the moment.
Oh, no, man.
It wasn't too bad today. I don't know how to convert stuff to Celsius though, because I'm not.
The weather in New York, though, man. You seen that shit? That was in New York, bro.
Sky News. I was like, oh my god.
I'm gonna have
crazy stuff, man.
That flooding.
That was where the floods were, wasn't it?
No, so the floods were in Louisiana, but it's kind of made it. So that's where it, like the main part of it was, but it's kind of that was like kind of the I don't know what you call it, like as it was going up, but it isn't the full force of the storm. But yeah, it was
Storm Ida or something.
Yeah, not exactly what it was, Storm Ida, but it's literally New York. Apparently, it had more rain in an hour than it normally gets in a month.
Damn.
Or something stupid like that, and the subways were literally flooded. Cars were stuck in the middle of the road.
Okay. I saw that without any context. There's a group chat we have going with our stateside Spurs group, and Ahmad sent that, a picture of that in the subways, and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand the context, but I do now. Man, it was wild. I thought that some other source of water, like some kind of line, had broken somewhere and was like flooding majorly. But no, that was just God just doing that.
Cody, didn't you post some dude on a what do you call them, inflatable kind of bed floating down the street earlier on Twitter? In the middle of New York or somewhere, man.
That wasn't me.
Oh, okay, some dude did, man. I don't know if it's real or not. You never know what to believe on Twitter, especially if it comes off your feed. But
Cody's the best. Cody is
Oh,
Cody's the best
shots.
on Twitter. I've got to say. But Cody, honestly, serious question actually. When it comes to like one of the things that I say is, like, thank God, like we moan about our weather back home in England, but thankfully we're not like America. They have the floods, tornadoes, the yada yada yada, like natural disasters.
Fuck.
None of that ever, or the earthquakes. Canada doesn't really get that, does it? Like the floods don't, or the storms don't really get into like a full effect. They don't really get this. They don't proceed right through the country, do they? We're very lucky on that side. We get the shit winters, but
I think you'll get probably the most extreme weather will be on the East Coast, like Nova Scotia and Newfoundland in the wintertime can be pretty brutal. We will get certain like snowstorms, like it depends. It depends what's going on. Like some winters are worse than others, you know what I mean? Like you can get these Arctic bubbles that move and then all of a sudden it's like for weeks on end it's just snow and snow and snow. I live in a part of Ontario that's referred to as the snow belt, and basically like 3 days in advance I can pretty much tell you what's going to happen, because whatever's going on in Alberta will travel down through the states and then cross through the Great Lakes, and there's something called the lake effect, and it'll just make everything so much worse, and we're right near a lot of open water. So yeah, but generally speaking, like in terms of forest fires or earthquakes or flooding, Canada is pretty good for that kind of stuff. Like we don't get like hurricane weather or anything like that. We get the remnants of hurricanes. It's a really good place to live if you can put up with like the guarantee of a shit winter, which a lot of people don't want to, right?
yeah, I mean, it's like the second winter I was here was terrible. I came here in December, and one of the reasons I moved here in December because I was like, do you know what? I don't want to come in the summer and then have the build up of everyone going, do you know what winter's like? Do you know what? I thought, let me come in the winter, just deal with it head on. And
Sorry, I'm just reading William Fredrickson's comment because I was about to interject with, hang on, hurricanes form in the Atlantic Ocean and typhoons form in the Pacific.
As far as weather talk goes, it's actually like pretty exciting weather talk. It's not like we're not just telling people, you know, it's not like, oh, it might rain tomorrow.
Yeah, if anyone
give us some credit.
But I do have some ball talk I did want to get to. So it actually
let's do it.
All right, sorry.
Good segue. I was just gonna name off some players, and I just want you to say, hey, I want you to pick between one or the other. But I guess to make it more fun, the one that you don't pick in this scenario dies, just so that we okay.
That's a bit harsh.
Sorry.
No, let's kill him. Let's kill him, man.
We're gonna have to kill some people, and I'm just on a list right now of Tottenham players of all time. But I have a couple of players in particular that I want to know. Ryan Mason, Lewis Holtby.
Oh,
I've got my answer.
No, see, that's harsh. I thought you were going to say something like someone and Sol Campbell. Then it's easy.
No, these are all going to be tough. You got to murder good people here. Good people are going to die.
Jesus.
Because of us.
Oh, come on. Think about a long-time servant versus somebody who just popped up for a couple of years.
Yeah, but Lewis Holtby was such a character. And you got to remember Ledley King's testimonial when he hacked down Howard Webb.
Mm-hmm.
That was also... Yeah, but do you know what? Based on what Aaron just said, I'll say that Mason lives.
I think that, yeah, that's I think going to be the popular. What about you, Codester?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, fair. Let's get another one in here. Let's go with some defenders this time. Well, actually, okay, Jermaine Genius or Tom Huddleston, one of those two.
I love Tom Huddleston.
Yeah, Tom Huddleston. Tom Huddleston.
Tommy.
He could ping a ball, man.
I was going to say he wasn't. They always, and this is cliche. He wasn't mobile, but he was really good at.
Do you know? No, do you know what it is? When we first signed him, he's a giant, and like Aaron just said, he had one of the most ferocious shots you'll ever see, and he really could pass that football. He was like the definition of a quarterback. I would say, and I'm not just joking. This is a big claim I'm going to make. I think he was the best pass or had the best passing range of a Tottenham player since Glenn Hoddle.
Since Hoddle. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
He was incredible. It's just a shame he started picking up injuries. And then I think it was under Ramos he started losing, like putting on the weight and whatever. But he was. I love Tom Huddleston.
He was with Spurs for a long time too, right?
Yeah, I mean, he got into the England squad as well. At one point, he really was a focal point of the England squad. I loved this. Tom Huddleston survives.
Wow. All right, cool. That's not the answer that I was expecting, so that's awesome. Cody?
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
And I guess you could take survives it to like gets into your squad or whatever. But sorry to interrupt you.
but like isn't Genius kind of a bit of a shit pundit?
No, he's incredible.
Oh, he said everybody on BBC Match Today is a shit pundit for folks. Sorry, I shouldn't be cursing, but yeah, I mean, anyone who ends up there is a gobshite, to be honest.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, getting back to the football side of it, though, Genius could, he could score the occasional goal from range, but he was no Tom Huddleston, man. Tom, like Dago just said there.
I was going to say we could have used a Tom Huddleston in the squad right now. I feel like let him play instead of Ndombele. That would be kind of cool. Am I right in that? And like that's kind of the role that he played was that.
I don't know where he's fit into the current team though, like because I don't want to go on about formations and all that bullshit because in my day it wasn't so much about formations and pivots and all that shit. But I mean, look, there's one thing about Huddleston. When he gave him a little bit of space, he could just spray the ball beautifully, and he could crack the ball in.
He's like a Michael Carrick type player.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The game has changed
of a generation. I think of a certain generation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna make it harder and get players that weren't from the same generation, just so that we have to. Damn. Okay. What about Tim Sherwood and Gus Poyet?
Oh, I know my answer.
I know my answer.
I should have said Tim Sherwood.
Cody first.
Campbell.
Cody first.
Who am I keeping? Gus Poyet.
Yeah.
Full house.
Everyone. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Poyet.
All right. All right. Let's say Kranjkar or Corluka.
I hated Chorluka.
Hated?
I hated Vernon Chorluka. I just did not understand. That guy looked just so lazy. And Nico Kranjčar, he. Now that's a guy that could strike a football.
Yeah, weren't they Harry Redknapp's boys, man? Harry Redknapp's boys.
Oh, mate, Harry Redknapp's trilogy.
Oh yeah, this is all from that time, right? Like I said, right at the very
Kranjčar was fantastic. I wish we'd had him for longer.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, I'm with Daigle again here. Kranjčar.
I'm making it easy for you guys. Shoot. I think there's not that many good
I think
names
you've
on
learned
this
don't put Paul Gascoigne against anyone because you know who died.
Yeah, no, that'd be bad. Let's go with players.
Gascoigne or Hoddle. Let's go to war.
Gascoigne.
Players like I don't know much about, like Wilson Palacios or Aurelio Gomez.
Oh, Palacios.
So
you don't think Gomez, even though he did so much cool. So yeah, tell me more about Palacios.
Oh well, he was a bit of a. Hang on, am I confusing him? Wasn't he the dude that just got stuck in?
He's the one.
Aurelio Gomez.
Do you remember, Aaron? He's the guy whose brother was murdered in Honduras. He was kidnapped.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. There was four professional. There were a family of four brothers that were all professional footballers, and Palacios played on during that horrific time. And now, if we're going to compare him to Aurelio or her hilarious Gomez in nets, look, I mean, the guy started off life as a centre forward and ended up in nets. He was decent, great shot stopper, pulled off amazing saves, but my God, did he make some mistakes? But no, I mean, for me, it's Palacios all the way. Just total respect for that man. And for what he did, what he went through, and how he dedicated himself to football, you know.
So I can go quite deep into everything with Wilson Palacios, just so I know quite a fair bit about this because I had a connection, not with him, but to people at the time. So when we signed Wilson Palacios, we actually wanted Craig Bellamy as well. And Man City were after Palacios and Bellamy as well. And this was when Mark Hughes was in charge. I think it was just before the money came in at Man City. And Man City and Tottenham had an agreement that we'll stop going for Bellamy if they stop going for Palacios, because we desperately needed that defensive midfielder was the one position we haven't filled for ages. So we went and got Palacios. His first full season, we got Champions League, and he was a pit bull. He was my favourite player in the squad. He was. You could see, because Vieira had obviously started dominating for Arsenal and Keane and we had never had that position. And before that, that's when Alex Ferguson used to say Tottenham had got a soft underbelly. He came in and completely changed that. And then the story with Wilson Palacios, what actually happened, when he found out about his brother, they were playing a game away at Everton. Harry Redknapp's been on YouTube or whatever it was and said this interview. And this is the kind of guy Palacios was. Apparently at 2 a.m, he got the phone call at the hotel in Liverpool before they played Everton the next day to say, right, we've just found that they've handed your brother's body over, or they found your brother's body, whatever it was. And
He was held for ransom.
That was he was held for blackmail for 4 years.
Oh my god! And they paid it, right? And
they paid it every single time, and then they killed him. But then what happened is, like I said, the phone call got to Wilson at 2 a.m. And then at 2 a.m. in the middle of a hotel, instead of he just got up, obviously he was in an emotional state. He just found out his brother had died. Packed his bags, sat in the lobby by himself for 6 hours and waited for Harry Redknapp to come down. And when he came down at 8 a.m, he was like, "What are you doing here? Why?" And he said, "Listen, my brother's dead. I can't play. I've got to go back to Honduras." And he was like, "Well, why didn't you come and wake me up at 2 a.m. in the morning when you found out?"
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't want to wake you or disturb you. I didn't want you to worry.
Yeah.
So the guy sat in the lobby by himself, finding out that his brother had died. And he's still sitting there and had the respect for the manager and the team that he didn't want to disrupt the team. And then, unfortunately, you can totally understand why. After that, his career just went to pot. But he was Oh, what a player! What a player! What a man! And just horrible that things like this happen all the time in the world for him.
That's incredible, actually. He has sort of that in common with Aurier, I guess, in the fact that. I mean, different altogether, but that Aurier playing the day after his brother was murdered, of course.
Of course, I mean Aaron Lennon. Aaron Lennon, I think, lost his best friend up in Leeds, and Defoe lost his uncle, and but there was there was something touching though about Palacios.
Yeah,
I mean, like you said, the
David
way
House. Remember Aaron? David House played against West Ham on the night that his dad died.
Did he? No, I didn't. I remember David House. I didn't know that.
We lost 4-3 to them at West Ham. His dad died that night, and he played.
Sometimes I feel like it's kind of an escape from that, for the players more than anything. It's normality. It's it's going about doing what you would normally do, and I feel like if they didn't do it, if they didn't play, it would be harder for them. But I don't know. I'm speaking without really knowing.
Well, no, I can kind of confirm that, because even Paul Gascoigne said, "You know what? The only time I was happy was when I was on the football pitch, because I couldn't get to my demons. My demons couldn't get to me. Nothing was in my head. It was like, play the game."
That's how that's cool, because even as just like a high schooler, when I played and I felt the same way. I didn't care about.
There was
only stupid bullshit bothering me at that time, like grades or, girlfriend or whatever. You know what I mean? But none of that shit mattered whenever you were out there. You wanted.
I got to say something, right? And I don't want to be kind of getting whatever here, but the reason I started chatting on these channels was when I saw Daigle talking about mental health issues, and I've I had 1 or 2 or 3 in my life before, and I only started getting involved when I saw Brian doing his talk about it, and that's when I started getting involved. So I just want to say thank you, Brian, and
what I'm here for, mate. We've spoken about this before as well, mate, and as I was saying before, I can't remember if you're on the stream or off the stream. That's exactly why I did that show.
Yeah.
Just to try and help, and mate, those words mean the world to me, Aaron. So thank you so much.
No worries, man, and thank you, because like I said, it got me involved, and it's given me something to do during I've lost a couple of jobs and being away from my daughter and now granddaughter and that, and there's a lot going on that I'm not involved with. But no, it's been a great way to be able to. I don't know, form relationships with people, and it's all about the club. It's all about football, but at the same time, it's about humanity. At the same time, and
Exactly.
being good to each other, and yeah. So anyway, yeah.
Oh
I don't.
no, that's
I'm not good at talking
awesome.
about this stuff. So yeah, yeah. Back to the football.
Yeah,
Who's
y'all
who's
are
the
the
good.
next
list?
man?
This is a hard one, you guys. Really hard, like stupid hard. Hard as it's gonna get. Dembele or Ericsson.
Sorry,
Sorry,
do you say Musa
Dembele.
Dembele or Undembele?
No, sorry, Musa Dembele
Oh,
or Christian Eriksen.
Ooh.
I don't
Okay,
even
I
need a
know mine.
second I don't even need a second to think about it.
You don't need a second,
Don't need a second. Don't need a half
Either do I.
second.
Cody. Do you need a second, or do you got it too? I'm looking at another
Who
screen.
do I
so
keep?
guess-
Who am I killing of those two? Is that what?
Yeah, killing.
Well,
I only
you
made
don't
it
have to
killing
use that word,
try to make
man.
it
Yeah,
more-
because I feel very bad using this word for the player I'm about to say.
Okay, you're not killing him. You're sending him to
so
play for Arsenal.
The player that I would
no.
send to play for Arsenal would be Dembele. I would keep Ericsson.
What?
I
Seriously?
Oh,
knew
there you
that
go.
would be a divide there.
I'm with Cody. You're not.
Musa Dembele every single day of the week. Every single day of the week and twice on a Sunday.
Okay, explain it.
All right, so thankfully I got to see Musa and Christian Eriksen a hell of a lot. I'm very, very privileged to have seen that. Now, when we signed Christian Eriksen, like everyone knew coming from Ajax, the big deal that he was. And when he came, he was pulling up trees, his passing, his no look passing, whatever. But then you got to see his. I started calling him "Where's Wally" because he went missing in the big games. He like even in the Champions League final when you thought before he was leaving for Madrid, or he thought this was those games where he should grab it by the scruff of the neck and say, "Right, I'm Christian Eriksen. I'm pulling you through this game." He just never seemed to do it. I still to this day say Christian Eriksen. I was at the semi-final when we lost 4-2 to Chelsea when Chelsea won the double under Conte, and Christian Eriksen for the second goal we scored, and it was to Dele Alli where he passed the ball and it went through two players and Dele Alli was running between two of them. And I was right where Christian Eriksen. It's still the best pass I've ever seen live at a football match, best by far. But Christian Eriksen, and I feel sorry because of what he went through now and everything, but he put his tools down. Or even before he put his tools down, his free kicks became shit. His corners became shit. He wasn't the player he was. Musa Dembele. Now, one thing I will say about Musa is he looks brilliant when you watch him on TV. But when you watch him live, because obviously when you're watching it live, you see everything. You don't just see what the cameras are showing you. This man is absolutely phenomenal. I've seen him literally 4 people get off me, drive through that pitch. All right, he should have scored more goals and maybe assisted more. But during that season with Wanyama when we came second, and the season we came third, he was unstoppable. And he had another season which Aaron remember when it was him and Sandro together, the Brazilian beast,
Sandro, those were good.
where
Those were cool days. I miss
where
Sandro.
you literally could not get past them. And if you ever watch, I mean, I don't know if you've seen them, Cody. They do it on Sky Sports on their YouTube channel occasionally, where they do these questions with all the other players. It's different player from a different team each week. But you ask every single one of those Spurs players that say best player at the club or best player, every single time they pick Musa Dembele. Every single Spurs player that's played with him, when they say the best player at Spurs, Dembele. So for me, it's not even close in my opinion. For me, it's Dembele by far.
Cody, what makes you pick?
It just
Eriksen
depends.
over-
The thing is, like, for me, it's not such a clear cut choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not like
meant to be. It's meant
it's
to
not
be
like
super
you
racist.
wouldn't have to think about that. The thing is, like, when you compare the two players, they're in two different roles, and you have to ask yourself, okay, who could we have coped with? Who could we have coped without more easily? I think we could have coped without Moussa Dembele. And the thing is, if you're looking at like ceiling and floor in terms of like how many games that they played, how much they kept their health up, I get what you're saying about Eriksen like fading at the end of his Tottenham career, but when you look at the statistics, Eriksen was absolutely, undeniably world class, one of the best at his position. And as much as like the nostalgia in me wants to say, okay, Moussa Dembele, you are the player I will select here. Eriksen was like one of the best in the business at what he was doing, you know, and I don't know if Moussa Dembele was getting mentioned in the same breath in the midfield that way. So it's I don't like I don't dismiss your argument about Dembele, but you can see now how badly we have botched our transfer business in not addressing, and both players offer a skill set that are difficult to replace. Let's say it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
in terms of like what you would want right now for Tottenham as well, and maybe that's something that's affecting my view on the question itself. We're missing Eriksen right now more than we're missing Moussa Dembele, and
That part you're right, Cody. But what I would say is that year we got to the Champions League final, we got rid of Dembele that January, and that's when our almost a year of our home not win, away not winning, and we still like. I know you're saying we haven't replaced Eriksen. We still have. All right, we can say we have with Højbjerg. I'll give you that, but we tried before. We didn't replace Dembele. We thought we had with Ndombele, but we hadn't, and he was such a. I, I completely get it, and do you know what? I think what makes this harder is that, like Cody said, they are two completely different positions. Yeah, they're both midfield, but one was the architect, the through ball specialist, the one that could find something through an eye of a needle, and Dembele was just like, give me the ball, I'm going to run through three players and get the ball up the pitch. So I think I can see where this one, the crossovers coming.
Honestly, I think it's a coin toss, and I think in terms of like
Well,
in terms of like admitting,
Mm.
in terms of admitting that it's a coin toss as opposed to like, you know, the original answer for me is Eriksen. Eriksen's job was a lot more glamorous than Moussa Dembele's.
Correct.
So in the context of how you regard, like when you look back on those games, you don't like. I'm not going to say you don't like respect what Dembele did the same way, but it's easier to remember the fantastic and dynamic, the dynamism of Christian Eriksen as opposed to like the grunt, hard work. But Moussa Dembele had like a beauty to his work as well. So, yeah, that one is by far probably one of the most impossible ones so far.
You
I
know,
feel like
well, Cody, you look at it and it's like Dembele did what he did, so Eriksen could do what he did. It wasn't Eriksen did what he did, so Musa. You know what I mean? Christian couldn't do what he got to do if Musa weren't there to. You know what I mean? You couldn't role reverse it that way. But
Yeah,
like
no,
you said,
you could totally say like how many people have defended Dele Alli on the basis that he has missed Christian Eriksen, right? So it's like,
Yep.
okay,
Well,
I think in some respects,
Deli,
it's like, all right,
Son, Kane, Ericsson, they were brilliant. They were brilliant at their peak under Poch. And I know Ericsson couldn't beat the first man with a corner, and Ndombele was brilliant at controlling the ball in the middle. But how many goals did Ndombele, like create or have an involvement in compared to Ericsson? Look, it's a really tough question, but and you're comparing, two completely different styles of players here, or we're trying to.
right.
But for me, it's Ericsson purely because he was involved in, a hell of a lot more goals. But really tough questions because I love both those players.
It's kind of it was kind of a loaded one, but for me, I'd pick to keep Dembele. He's my favorite player that I've ever
So
seen.
2-2 on that one then.
I'm really enjoying this game, I have to say.
I'm enjoying it, but I have to go to bed.
Oh, hey, you were all good, man.
You
Well,
got
just
one
let us know.
more. I got
Yeah,
time for
okay.
one more.
Okay, I'll hit you with one. And I had it. Okay, yeah, sorry, I already had it. It was wow, where did he go? Okay, Michael Dawson or Jan Vertonghen.
Oh,
I wanted to give
okay.
you another really hard one.
I'm gonna say
Well,
Vertonghen.
Vertonghen because of ability, but Dawson because of passion.
There,
so
argument over.
Yeah,
So-
Basically.
damn.
I have two favorite players to ever wear a Spurs shirt.
Oh, I know what Brian's gonna say.
You know what number 1 is, and number 2 is Super Yam, my
Yeah.
second favorite ever Spurs player.
Damn, that was a lot
Like
more clear
he
cut than I
is.
expected. I thought
He,
there was a lot of, and I knew there was, and is a lot of love.
I thought you were
out
going to
there
hit us with Teddy
for
Sheringham and
Dawson.
Jurgen Klinsmann on, and be like, "Oh, here we go."
No, not yet.
I saw I saw Teddy and Ferdinand play together against Middlesbrough. It was my first game at the Lane. I think it was in maybe 2000 or 2001. We were 1-0 down, and at half time, and Teddy and Ferdinand both scored. But geez, Teddy was some player. Really was a
What about
fantastic friend.
Højbjerg or Sandra?
Højbjerg.
And Sandro's fit, and his knee isn't fucked.
So Højbjerg, like I've said on We Are Tottenham TV and a few other streams, I've given you the two. Højbjerg is fastly making a track for number 3. He's that good for me. But that's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, as you put Gascoigne, I mean, he is the like you said, the Ericsson. He is the the showstopper, the maverick, the go-to. But I also love those players that aren't the Kane. You know what I mean, like the franchise player, the big time player. And I love like the defensive midfielders. I love a good central defender. Like Michael Dawson was a great servant to the club. His attitude, like he would put his body on the line for Spurs, and his attitude for talking about Højbjerg is just incredible.
I got one
man,
for
I
Daigle.
remember that match. Sorry about that.
Yeah, can I ask Daigle one? Sorry to interject
Yeah,
there. Berbatov or Robbie Keane?
Berbatov to keep.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Do you know what it is? And Aaron, you'll be the one that knows best out of this. And I don't mean this in a disrespectful way to Robbie Keane. I think Berbatov made Keane look better than he was, or not was better than, you know what I mean? Because like you had with Sheringham and Klinsmann, and Jurgen Klinsmann still says to this day his best strike partner was Teddy Sheringham. The best era Robbie Keane had was under Berbatov, and Berbatov was one of those players, and you saw what he did at United as well.
Yeah.
He was just incredible. Don't
I'm
get me
with
wrong.
you. I'm with you.
When
No, I'm with you. They got 82 goals, I think, together in 2 seasons or something daft
Yep.
like that, and they set up most of them for each other. But it was
Yep.
Berbatov. It was Berbatov. I'm with you. I'm an Irish fella, but no, I'm with you on that. Berbatov for me.
Do you know, whenever as well, there's two things I think about. I think about Berbatov, and funny enough, they're both not in a Spurs shirt. So one of them was, do you remember that bit of incredible skill he did for Man U on the touchline? And he set up Ronaldo, where I still don't understand how he did it. That was incredible. And then I don't know if you guys have seen it. If you YouTube Berbatov first touch Fulham, there's a long ball that comes across,
And he just takes it out of it. Just takes
and
it
it
out
goes
of the
out.
air.
You can't even see it on the. You can't see the ball, and it just comes down on his foot like there was super glue. Like bang.
He'd have 3 players around him, and he'd just pick it out of the air on his foot, and lose them all. And then he get abused for being lazy. I mean, it was Berbatov was a different class to Robbie Keane altogether, man.
You off, Cody? Back?
Brilliant.
Yep, gotta go. Nice chatting
Cody,
with you guys.
thanks for coming, man. Appreciate seeing
Love
you,
it.
buddy.
Good night, Cody, brother. I'll speak to you during the week.
Take care.
Cheers,
care.
Cody. Go kill some squirrels and eat some maple syrup, man.
I will. You know I will. This spirit is hungry.
So yeah, for me, Berbatov without a doubt.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Daigle. Yeah, man. It was just that partnership that was so good, though. They were so good together.
But I was lucky. I mean, they're the one I mentioned before was Sheringham and Klinsmann, and then Berbatov and Keane. I think are the best 2 strike forces I've seen in my lifetime at Tottenham.
Sonny and Kane, though. I mean, Sonny and Kane last year, man. I mean, they kind of compete with the other couple, you know, the other couple
What
of
about
couples.
Sonny or Gareth Bale?
Oh my God.
Are we ignoring Gareth Bale last season, even albeit that he was actually, you know, got us 10 or 11 goals, but
This is
Gareth
him at his
Bale in his
peak.
prime?
Both at their peak.
Oh
Yeah.
dear.
Oh
dear. Daigle, you first.
I was about to say, can we have one free pass? Just one where they both live.
No,
I know what my answer is, but I don't want it to be.
One has to go play for West Ham.
You're evil.
I'd rather death.
Who are you sending to go play for West Ham?
Look. Let's be honest. All right, I'm going to bite the bullet here. Look, okay, we have to admit Gareth Bale in his prime, right? But our love of Sonny won't let us say that right now.
Exactly. It's just like, you know what? That Champions League season and his last season at Spurs, where he single-handedly was unstoppable.
Oh man, the haircut that he had was that's how I know.
Just everything. But then you look at Sonny, and like you said, Sonny's the full package.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that game when we were against, wasn't it Inter? But wasn't it that game against Inter Milan and Gareth Bale made his name? And
he scored the hat trick.
Two of the goals were identical, like literally the exact same goal.
Do you know what? I actually prefer, Aaron. I actually preferred the game at White Hart Lane because he literally, I mean, the game at the San Siro was great. He got that hat trick, but what he did in that second leg, he just destroyed Inter Milan single-handedly.
The only reason I brought up the San Siro game was because my uncle, my cousin, and my two cousins, cousin Sue and cousin Ian, and my uncle Jimmy, who's now 80, they always go to a Champions League game where they used to always go when we were in it, and they were at that San Siro game, and so that for me is kind of like, you know, the way they talk about it, and Gareth Bale's kind of coming of age, and
I mean,
oh Jesus, Sonny or Kane. Vicious.
Yeah, that. Listen, I don't know if I've got a free pass or not, but I'm pretending that you just gave me one, Colin. So those two have to walk. Right. That's just really hard.
No, it's probably too hard. Probably too hard. I want to interject with like a tiny story. I've seen Spurs live 2 times in my life. Both times though were in the States. But after one time in particular, it was in Colorado actually. And after they played the MLS All-Stars and got beat, but after it was over, it was the season that we had signed Dele. Dele had his season back at loan at MK Dons, and then had joined up, and so it was like his first preseason and preseason tour with the club. And anyway, all the players were getting on the bus to leave, and we had kind of scoped out where they were going to be, and they were just leaving, and everyone around was cheering out for Yedlin because I was in the States, and everyone.
Oh, DeAndre legend.
And I cringed even at the time. I was just like, you guys are such. You're making me look bad. You're making me look bad. So I started hollering out for good players and like people that we knew, and hollered out, and it was I got Dele, I got Musa. Harry Kane. It was amazing. I don't know. It was wonderful. They came out. They all came out of the bus. It took a little I'm almost embarrassed.
Your mom just said Lamella as well.
Oh yeah, Lamella. It was crazy. I'm almost embarrassed about how much coaxing it took. Ricky's back. But yeah, I was able to get all of them to come off the bus and like.
That was a quick sleep, Ricky.
Ricky's back.
Well, I just wanted to.
This guy's still up in Amsterdam at 5 a.m., man.
I just wanted to comment on the Bale versus Sonny.
Yeah, please have a say. Have a go.
Oh,
I can see. I remember sitting in my flat on the night when we played Inter Milan. And we were
San Siro or Homeland?
No, when we were 4-0 down.
Yep.
And sat there with one of my mates, and we were thinking, Jesus Christ, this is not going well. And then Bale was just absolutely amazing. The second half, we got back to 4-3. I actually thought we were going to get back to 4-all. But then the whole Real Madrid thing came along. I didn't really like the way that he acted. So, yeah, I'd say at the moment, I much prefer Son. He plays.
But are we judging him on? Are we judging him on his conduct on the pitch or off the pitch?
No, yeah.
Do you know the way I put it to you, Lens? Let's put this another way, sir.
Yeah.
If we were to choose Gareth Bale's best match in the Spurs, all right, let's just say his best 2 matches ever at Spurs. I think you couldn't go much further than the 2 Inter Milan games, at the peak of his powers.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't seen
I was there for the second one.
Oh, mate, do you know what? Like I said before he came on, I think the second game he was more impressive than the first.
Yeah.
I think he literally, I've never seen anything like it.
As well wasn't bad.
And I can remember even when supercalifragilistic Pavlyuchenko. Okay, so that Gareth Bale, when he set up that third one, when he smashed it past Moicon and passed it for Pavlyuchenko, even Andy Gray in the commentary, I remember him saying, "Do you know what? I've never seen this from any kind of player in the world. He is a completely different." And what I was trying to get though, if we say those are the 2 standout games for Bale, I don't think you can say Son has had 2 standout games of that caliber.
No, yeah, that's probably true.
And that importance.
Yeah.
So that's
you could argue that City game in the Champions League was close.
The goal against Burnley.
Yeah, I mean the goal.
Yeah.
No, that was brilliant, man.
You still look at. You look at Gareth Bale's goals against West Ham. That one when we won 3-2.
Yeah.
You look at the ones that he scored against Arsenal when he ran to the camera and did that at White Hart. Gareth Bale went through that season with 31 goals, and about 19 to 24 of them were absolute blinders, including his last goal ever against Sunderland, where he just.
I think I'll go back to bed then.
Can I just say one thing before you do there? All right. Daigle reminded me of a famous newspaper headline up in Scotland when, the team Inverness Caledonian Thistle.
Yeah,
I certainly do. I used to visit near them many summer holidays.
They trashed Celtic, and the headline was "Super Cali Go Ballistic. Celtic quite atrocious."
I bet somebody made some money off that headline. They definitely got it. Their boss was like, "Nice."
What if I do?
We need you writing more of these.
Aaron, say the headline again. Super Cali.
Super Cali Go Ballistic. Celtic quite atrocious.
Fair play. That is absolutely brilliant.
I didn't write it, mate. I just remembered it. Okay.
That is brilliant. That is gold. Whoever that journalist was probably doesn't have to buy a beer ever again.
It was probably Ginty.
Mate, that was I've got to remember that.
I haven't seen him in a while. Where's he been?
He's taking a break. Yeah.
Okay.
Since Celtic signed Joe Hurt.
It's hard on everybody.
Was he Celtic or Rangers? I can't remember.
He's Celtic, man. He's pure Irish, that fella. Ginty's proper Irish, man. Well, Scottish Irish, But total Celtic boy.
Yeah. I spent enough time up in Kilburn to not understand what was going on. So.
My brother used to have a gaff in Kilburn, man. Yeah, I used to go over there a bit. Yeah. I used to pop over there a bit, yeah. Home away from home, man, Anyway, boys, it's we're hitting 4 a.m. here in Ireland, and man, I better be rocking off to bed.
You know what? And I always do this. Every time anyone goes to bed, I say maybe I should go to bed too. But I think I'm gonna hop off. Brian, thanks for being here, man. This really, really was not planned. I didn't have anything to talk about. I was just bored, and I thought
I think it was all good.
Hang out with my mates. So
I hope you all watched the Ricky Villa documentary that I sent you.
I still have. Yeah, I definitely will. Yeah. That's probably going to.
Sure I wasn't in it.
Be playing as he doesn't know anything about it, man. So how do I know it's real? Ricky Villa's right here.
Exactly. This is the real Ricky Villa.
I'm confused, Ryan. I'm confused.
No
man.
hair.
Well, lucky it's called the real Gaza, so Gaza the real me. So it's not the Ricky
Hopefully-
Villiers the real me.
Well,
Put it
Nice
this
one,
way,
there you go.
All right,
Appreciate
Ricky,
that
my-
one.
if that was the real Ricky Villiers, Madame Tussauds should ask for their money back because he doesn't look anything.
You ain't
yeah,
wrong,
there's a whole
Brian.
story
You ain't
there.
wrong.
We'll tell you that story off screen. We don't want everyone online to know about that, but
It's great to see 4 people from all over the world here. We got one in Canada, one in America, one in Holland, and another one in the potato fields
And
of
one that will
Ireland. So,
soon be in England, soon be in London.
yay!
Well, I'll be like
Representing.
Aaron Lenz. I'll be like, fuck me, it's 4 a.m. Can I just go to fucking bed?
no, exactly. You got to do a stream. I'm gonna ask them to do one too, and I'm there. I want to do an in-person stream with Tommy or somebody. You know what I mean? Like meet up with one of the gang that's over there and do a stream like live. Do like a set up
I
a
think-
2-person deal.
I'm hoping to be there for the North London derby.
I want to actually go to the game.
Yeah, well, I've got a season ticket. So
Oh, you were saying, yeah. I mean, that game. I mean, what we do. There's about 15 of us that get together with Spurs and Arsenal, like mates that work together or friends of friends, and when we don't go to the game, we all go to like a neutral pub. We won't go to like Tottenham with. They go as Arsenal, we go as Tottenham, but we all sit together and have a laugh. Everyone else in the pub are like, "Are these guys serious?" But we have like. Everyone's having a few drinks. Obviously, I don't drink, but we like take over the pub. So on that day, I think there's about 19 of us now at the moment, from what I've heard.
nice. At the end of the night, Brian's like, "Fuck you, do this."
But no, that's the thing. We've actually got into fights with Arsenal fans, but the Arsenal fans that have been with us have helped us beat the Arsenal fans, and vice versa, because we literally we're that tight.
When's this arranged battle on? If I'm not out in Bale
26.
anymore, I might be popping over.
26th.
All right, let's see what happens.
Yeah,
I can drive.
I'll
I
meet
can
you in the
drive there,
Brewers.
so.
2
Yeah, well-
brewers just off
yeah,
the
well-
high street. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Lenz, if you're there, we'll definitely meet up. Yes, we'll try and sort something out where we'll come and meet somewhere, because that's what I want to do as well. I want to meet as many of the, not just the YouTubers that are on, I mean, the followers, the subscribers, and everything.
Yeah,
I want to try and
definitely.
meet as many as possible.
That's what it's all about. That's what I like on my channel. Is I just like to encourage people to just get on and just talk, because it's not anything. It's not like we're special or cool or anything for like doing this. You know what I mean? Like we just like talking to them and we like
Good
talking
night
about it.
to Julie Severs. I think that's your mum. So.
It is. Night, mom.
Sleep
Mama
well.
Hotspur. Cheers, Mom.
But you know, like that's the main thing, is that it's just fun. It's a way to kind of get some shit off your chest sometimes, like relieve stress if you're mad at the performance.
I need to do that like every 2 hours. But anyway,
it's
do it the weekend instead.
been nice to have the international break while we're on top, because we don't have anything negative to think about. But you know what I mean? It's just nice, and anyone can do it, and I like to have anybody, like anyone in the comments. I like to always post the link so anyone can come on, and it's just. I just want people to feel comfortable here, and it's a fun place, and even if everything goes to shit, we're all friends, and we all got each other, and we can laugh while everything burns down.
As I said earlier on the comments, Johnny Einstein reprimanded me earlier today because I didn't mention the Shelfside Spurs, which is the show that I originally came onto. So everybody log on to Shelfside Spurs.
Boom.
Like, subscribe. Yeah. It's
Good
highly
show,
amusing.
good
It was
show.
a very amusing show.
Yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah.
With Aaron.
Was that the one with Barry
Spurs.
from EastEnders on it?
Barry from EastEnders, yeah.
What? He was actually on it.
No, it was
Okay.
one of our mates. Aaron said he looked like him, and it didn't go down very well. But it was highly amusing.
It sounds like it would be good. I definitely got.
It went down well with everyone but him, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
As we wrap it up, this is turning into a Midwestern goodbye on accident. And I'll tell you what.
All right.
It's a thing in the part of the country where I am, where it's like a 20-minute goodbye. But Brian,
All right.
real quick, tell everyone where they can find you whenever you're not just chatting shit over
Yeah,
here.
like I said, I mean, normally you can find me doing my best Julia Roberts impression in Pretty Woman because I'm just on the corner working it, baby, work it, baby.
You gotta
You'll
make
find,
money. No one's
you're,
judging
that's
You
why I
you.
said.
saucy man.
That's what I said. You'll find
No
me on every.
judgment here.
You'll find me on every street corner, on every YouTube stream possible. Work it, baby, work it.
He looks
That's
great
why,
in a mini skirt.
Don't
and
give up your day job, Brian.
that's why I've said when we have the Tottenham YouTubers Christmas party, and I'll come in the Julia Roberts dress. I won't
You're
buy
coming
it,
out of the cake, mate.
but you can find me at Tottenham on tour. I was part of Tottenham away, but myself and Brian Ireland had to split from it because of the time difference and the world getting back to normal because of COVID. So we've started a new channel called Tottenham on Tour. We've started bringing out some new content. I don't know if you've all seen the new video we did. We've actually got, it used to be the voice of Tottenham Hotspur, Daniel Wynn,
Oh
who
yeah.
was one of my team leaders at my Jewish youth club when I was growing up and used to watch me play football. But he used to do the Tottenham commentary for Spurs TV. He now does a lot of work for the supporters, not the supporters trust, the actual players trust, where for the players like Jimmy Greaves and all the older players at the time that may need help. So he does a lot of work with them, and
That's
he
awesome.
also now does the commentary for the visually impaired at match days. So he's going to be doing a weekly after every home game review of not so much the game like everyone talks about, but the things that he noticed on the walk up to the game and the atmosphere in the pitch. And then also what he's doing is he's got every single program from the 1950-51 season to today, every single program. So you can imagine what that's worth. And he's going through these and finding matches on this day and kind of showing the program and showing the difference and the price and the players.
That is
It's like
amazing content, dude.
so,
That's
so,
awesome.
so it's going to be about the first one he did was about 6-7 minutes, but it's going to get a little bit longer once we refine it.
Wow.
But
That's
we've got quite a bit more content ready to, or not ready to rock and roll in the pipeline because we did well growing Tottenham away, and we're very, very proud of what we did at Tottenham away and what Stel and Shy and all the boys continue to do. But because of the time difference, and we're starting from scratch again, so I think we haven't hit 400 subscribers yet. We're very, very close to it. But
Well, everyone, make sure. I know that so I have 2 people watching right now, and at my peak there were 7. But all of you guys, anyone who's watching this now, or if you see it later, by some stretch of like you're 2.5 hours into this video, just make sure you like and subscribe over there because this man's working hard and that content sounds great. I can't wait for it personally. I'm just some dumb guy who gets people together to talk Spurs, but
You're
you're
not
organizing things.
Definitely not done.
You know what I mean? I think that's
Right. Can I ask you a question?
of course you can, sir.
Yeah. Stel looks really unhappy at the moment. Is he all right?
Okay, so
I was gonna say, and
Yeah, probably time for it. Yeah,